Assalamu alaikum, this is Dr. Mona Al-Idrisi, author of the Muslim Narcissist book and empowerment coach for Muslims. In today's podcast, I will be answering some questions I received from people that I thought were important to answer before I move on to the main question of, is it possible for a narcissist backburner to be a family member or a friend? So I will take a deep dive into this answer because it was going to be the subject of this week's podcast, but I wanted to answer some other questions first before I move on to that, just so I could wrap up the subject of the backburner whom the man-child has a romantic or sexual relationship with. So as always, just before I jump into the podcast, I'd like to kindly ask you to like the podcast. Do share it with people whom you feel could benefit from this information, and do subscribe to the channel or sign up to the newsletter on the website to receive information about the next podcast that I drop. You can also add me on Instagram, it's dr.mona.alidrisi, and you can gain more access to information and be notified of when I will drop a podcast next. So like I said, I don't always have the time to post a podcast every single week, so if you're with me on Instagram, you'll be notified in the stories as to when podcasts will be scheduled, okay? There's also a private community in Instagram, so all you need to do is submit a book review if you've read the Muslim Narcissist book, and you'll be added to the private community. And in this private community, we discuss the podcast. People have the opportunity to ask me questions in the weekly Q&A that I do, and we discuss viral reels and popular videos that are going around in the Muslim community, especially in the subject of psychology. So I share people's responses anonymously, and we get to have some very interesting discussions sometimes. Okay, so if you'd like to post a book review, I would really appreciate it. I'd love it so much. You can go to Amazon and post it there, and then just message me to let me know you've done it so I can give you access to the private community. Okay, and of course, if you need one-to-one counselling and coaching, you can find my email address below where you can contact me, or you can just go directly to the website link that I've provided as well. And all you need to do is submit an application form, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So I do coach men and women, and I do provide mediation services for troubled marriages. So let's get into the subject. So the first question is, can you give us a more detailed list of who the romantic backburner could be? Right, so the backburner is someone the man-child used to know, or someone the man-child still knows. Okay, so this person is still present in their life. And you can apply this to women too, by the way. Okay, women who have backburners. So the ones who were present in their lives from before would be the ex-girlfriend, the ex-fiancé, the ex-wife. Okay, she could also be someone whom his parents didn't want him to marry. He might have been really in love with her, and his parents told him, you can't marry this woman, you have to marry this woman. So he would have kept in touch with that girl. She could have been someone he had a hookup with before. Okay, someone he committed zina with, he met her on an app, they had a hookup, they don't speak anymore. She can be someone who he was interested in before, but she didn't like him. Okay, so maybe they met online, they met in person, he was really into her, he was really attracted to her, but she didn't like him. Okay, he was either not her type, he didn't have enough money, he didn't drive the kind of car she liked. She would have dismissed him. However, he would have found a way around it to keep in touch with her and suggested that they stay friends, and she would have agreed because there's some sort of supply she's obtaining from him. Okay, maybe he's the shoulder to cry on. Maybe he's the one who's always there for her. Right, the one who's fixing things in her house, the handyman. He could be someone who, he's fun to hang out with, but she doesn't want to get into a relationship with him. So she would have rejected him from before, but because she's attractive, he knows To keep a woman like that in his life will be good for him when he does get into a relationship, because she's the perfect person to use in triangulation. Okay, so if he gets into a relationship with a codependent or an empath, he will use this woman who is very attractive to cause insecurities and jealousy in the women. Okay, because she'll be on his social media, you'll be asking him who's that person, he'll be like, oh, she's just a friend. Don't worry about her, she's just like my sister. Yeah, I'm not interested in her, she's not interested in me, but we're very good friends. Okay, they will use that excuse for the back burner. She never is just a friend, and she never is a sister. Okay, your sister is your sister. She's not a sister. So when a man tells you, she's just a friend, she's just my sister, or a woman tells you, oh, don't worry about him, he's just like my brother, he's just like my cousin, dismiss her immediately. He's the back burner. Okay, he is the back burner. So they will keep an attractive person in their lives who doesn't want to be with them, so that they can use this person to triangulate you with. And when they triangulate you with someone who's very attractive, the idea behind it is that they get you to work harder for their attention, love and affection. Okay, it's never love that they give you, but it's the love bombing that you're after. So they get more supply when they have another woman in the picture or another man whom you are competing with. Okay, so there's that woman. There's the other woman as well, who he meets when she's already in a relationship. She could be married, she could be engaged, she might have a boyfriend, whatever. And he hangs around until she's free. Okay, he hangs around waiting for her to break up with the man she's with so that he can shoot his shot. If that woman becomes available while he is with you, he will reverse discard you to be with her. And that's why you find so many narcissists end up in relationships very quickly, when you guys break up, because he's already been in touch with her. She's already told him, I broke up with my man. So he's now thinking, oh my goodness, I need to get in there. So he starts talking to her behind your back, and then after you break up, all of a sudden he's with her. Right? It's because they were already talking while he was with you. It's a horrible feeling, I know, but this is something they do. It's a part of their disorder. This is how they operate. They have to overlap relationships. So because they can never be alone, they need to ensure that the woman they want to be with, or the person they jump to next as a lifeline, is someone who is ready to receive them when you break up with them. So there's always an overlapping in relationships. Okay, as soon as one ends, the other starts. And this is the exact reason why when they break up with you or you break up with them, they don't delete you from social media if they're man-children. And the reason why is because they want to now keep you as the back burner in case that relationship they ran to goes wrong. So they're never the ones to remove you or block you. They lurk on your stories for ages, months, years, to see when life goes wrong for you. You might lose a loved one to death. They'll put their foot in the door to offer their condolences and start a conversation. And they want to see if you're still broken-hearted over them. They look at the quotes you post. Does it seem like she's grieving me still? It means I have power over her. It means she's still in love with me. They watch everything you post for that reason, because they want to assess where you are emotionally when it comes to them. And if you do move on and get married while they are with the new supply or a back burner, they would want to know if you ever break up. And that's when they make an appearance. Okay, so people feel happy, like, oh, my ex, he's still following me, he's still obsessed with me, he's still in love with me. No, he is not. He is using you as a back burner so that when things go wrong for him, he knows from your stories and the things that you post if it's safe enough for his ego to approach you when things go wrong for him. And that's why they have women they follow on their social media. If it's not on their main account, they will create a fake account to do that, because they have to monitor all of their backburner supplies to see which one will be the easiest target, the low-hanging fruit, when things go wrong for them. So when you ask them about these women who they're following, or about the women who are following them, and it's clear that these women are not family members, and they say things like, oh, I've known her since I was a child, I've known her since college, I've known her since university, she's just a sister, she's just a friend. Big red flag. Okay, she's a backburner 99% of the time. And I'm going to give you the 1% because there's always a chance you could be wrong. But 99% of the time, she's a backburner. I've heard all sorts before, where men tell women that she's a very old family friend. Yeah, she's just someone I know from my child's school. She's my child's teacher. But funnily enough, this child's teacher is half naked in her profile pic. Doesn't make any sense, right? So it's the women who look promiscuous in their photos. Whether they have public accounts, private accounts, you will see from the profile picture that she's someone promiscuous. She's someone toxic, you can tell. I'm not talking about the celebrities they follow. Those celebrities are never going to DM them back. And I'm not talking about all the Instagram models who a lot of men like to follow, because we all know that they won't get any messages back from these women either. Okay, I'm talking about the women who look like they know them personally. Okay, women who follow them back, women who comment and like and engage with their posts and things like that. It's those women who are the backburners. Okay, the women who you feel very uncomfortable with when you look at their profile pages. The backburner supply is always another narcissist like him or a toxic codependent woman, because only those two types of women will be okay with being a backburner supply and being involved with a man knowing he's in a relationship with another woman. Okay, they are not good women. And they love to compete with other women. They love to hurt other women, especially if those women are empaths. Okay, because toxic codependent women and narcissistic women are extremely jealous of empathic women. Okay, so they are more likely to get involved with your husband and destroy your marriage just because they hate you and they're intimidated by you. All right, so they're never good women. They are the ones who are totally fine with being with a married man, being with a man who's engaged, and those are the backburners, okay? Because a lot of empathic women have asked me, could I have been the backburner? But I say no, because you didn't know he was married, you didn't know that there was another woman involved, and you didn't do it with intention to cause harm, whereas the backburners do. Okay, so a lot of women fall victim into getting involved with married men because the men did not tell them they were married. If you find yourself in that situation, you're not a backburner. Okay, a backburner is someone who finds a thrill in getting involved in your marriage to break it apart. Okay, this is a satanic mission. I've mentioned it before, where Iblis rewards the women especially who break up marriages. And it's women who do this more than men, because women are more manipulative when they're narcissistic. Okay, they know how to get into a man's head and they know how to ruin his mindset. They know how to seduce him. They know how to use all the satanic tricks to make his marriage fail. And they do this at the command of their evil jinn qareen. Okay, the evil jinn that has completely taken over them and controlled them has given them orders in their minds to do this to this particular man who's trying to improve his life, who's trying to do better. Okay, but I'll tell you something. A man who is truly trying to be better gets rid of all of his backburners. He doesn't keep them on the side just in case for a rainy day. Okay, so someone who is truly willing to put the work in will fear Allah in that as well. So if his heart is not 100% in it, he's going to fall prey to the predatory backburners. Because a man who truly wants to improve in his deen and is grateful for what he has, this beautiful gift of having an empath as a spouse, and he finds peace and harmony and healing, a man who is truly grateful for that and wants to be a better person will cleanse his environment and his life from toxic people. Okay, that's the number one thing that anyone should do if they want to change for the better. You cleanse your environment and your social circle. So if a man claims to want to do better, he claims he wants to change, and he's doing some work, but he's holding on to his backburners, or you notice that he still has backburners in his life, he's not ready for change. Okay, what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say in Surah Al-Qasas, Ayah 56? He says, إِنَّكَ لَا تَهْدِي مَنْ أَحْبَبْتَ وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ يَهْدِي مَنْ يَشَاءُ وَهُوَ أَعْلَمُ بِالْمُهْتَدِينَ. So it translates to, you surely cannot guide whoever you like, O Muhammad, but it is Allah who guides whoever He wills, and He knows best who are fit to be guided. So those who are fit to be guided are those who are ready to receive guidance. Okay, their intention is in the right place. Their heart is in the right place. So if they're just faking it to compete with you, if they're faking it to look good, if they're faking it to deceive you into thinking that you've met the love of your life and that they are the person you've looked for all this time, they are practicing, they are good people, and if they're deceiving you into believing that they are going to change, Allah will never guide that person, and He will allow a backburner from their own swamp to take them away. Because Allah knows they are not sincere in their hearts. They've not done enough to make this path of righteousness easy for them to follow. You can't if you've got backburners. Allah knows this person wants to keep the backburners, which means there's no sincerity in his heart to be better. So Allah allows these backburners who He's holding on to take them away from your life. And this is why I keep saying that when a narcissistic man-child walks away from you without a fight, he goes straight into another relationship, this is divine intervention. Okay, Allah has allowed the backburner to take him because he wasn't sincere with his change. Okay, that's how you know. If a backburner can easily take him away or take her away, then know the sincerity wasn't there and that you deserve better. So Allah removes them. Okay, this is Allah rescuing you with divine intervention. So when you go back begging, pleading, crying to have these people back, can you see how much damage you're causing yourself? Because Allah's removed him for a reason that you can't see. Maybe you do. Maybe you know the backburner's there. But you are now in competition mode. You're competing with demons. And that's beneath you. And you're chasing someone who doesn't want to be guided. He's not ready to be guided. You're wasting your time. So when you answer a Hoover, or when you chase someone and beg for them back because you love them, right? Your emotions are now getting involved. You cause yourself a lot of harm. And sometimes Allah will have to give you another cycle to go through for you to understand that when He took him away the first time, it was to save you. But sometimes people have to go through 2 and 3 cycles of this, sometimes more, to understand that it was always divine intervention. And the last backburner that I will give you as an example could be a woman who is very into him, but he's not into her. A woman who's obsessed with him. He's either not attracted to her very much, or he knows she's toxic. She's not of the caliber he would like as a trophy, but she will do as a backburner. So this type of woman will be used as an emergency pit stop when he is desperate for supply and doesn't have any. He will go to the woman who is obsessed with him, but he's not really into her. He will use her until he finds new supply. So this woman will be a woman who is infatuated with how he looks, because the man-child is more often than not good looking. So he will be her trophy. Okay? He will be her trophy. That's why she chases him. This is the type of woman who will chase a good looking man until she has him. Even if it results in her dignity being smashed, she doesn't care. He will wipe the floor with her dignity as long as she has him, this good looking guy. And she's very much aware that he is not into her as much as she is into him. Okay, because he's her trophy, she will come up with ways to attract him and then capture him. And more often than not, they use their sexuality. Okay, that's when they become very promiscuous. They start revealing their bodies to these guys in pictures. They start to post so much on social media until the man falls into the trap of this satanic mission. Okay, so the Prophet ﷺ spoke about this and he warned men about this. So in a hadith narrated by Jabir radiallahu anhu, the Prophet ﷺ said, المرأة تقبل في صورة شيطان وتدبر في صورة شيطان فإذا أبصر أحدكم المرأة فليأتِ أهله فإن ذلك يرد ما في نفسه. So the translation of this is, a woman appears and walks away in the shape of a devil. So when one of you sees such a woman, he should go straight to his wife, for that will repel what he feels in his nafs. Okay, so there are many red pill men out there and misguided people in dawah, men and women, who apply this hadith to all women, which is incorrect. Okay, it's incorrect. This hadith is applied to women who go out in the street and they look promiscuous. They are dressed for sex appeal. They are dressed to be very glamorous to attract the attention of men. Because there will be women like this. There were women like this in the Prophet ﷺ's time. And men would get tempted by them. Okay, the woman would dress to seduce. They would dress to attract the male gaze. So the Prophet ﷺ said that these women come in the shape of a devil. Okay, because the shaitan uses them to tempt men away from the good path. So when you see such a woman who appears like a devil to you because she's out to seduce you, she's out to tempt you and attract you, then go straight to your wife and fulfill your desires with her, because that will get rid of the desires that start building up in your nafs, right, in your spiritual heart, towards the satanic woman who wants to seduce you. So it's an order. You go to your wife, go to the good wife you have at home, and leave all these satanic women you see in the street or who approach you, and they come in the shape of a shaitana. These are the women who set out with intention to seduce a man. Okay, this hadith is not applied to all women. There are many women out there who go out, they're fully covered, they're pious women. They don't arouse those desires in men in the street. They don't. But there are women who do it deliberately. The tight clothes, all the makeup, the perfume you can smell from 10 miles away, and the cleavage that's on display, the tight leggings they wear that make their backsides poke out, and you can tell they're not even wearing any underwear, right? You can tell it's on full display. Or the mini skirts they wear, the dresses that are transparent, all of this falls under the umbrella of tabarruj. And women who go out like this are cursed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Prophet ﷺ because of all the fitna they cause men, especially those who do not have a wife to go home to. So if you're going out in the street and you are in Islamic dress, right, you're wearing modest dress, even if you don't wear hijab, you are covered properly, you're not trying to attract men to you sexually, and if men stare at you and dribble all over you, that's no longer your fault. Okay, you're not going to be accountable for that because now it's an issue with his gaze. It's not an issue with what you're wearing. But when a woman goes out and she is dressed to impress, dressed to seduce, she will take the punishment for any issues that man falls into as a result of what she's wearing. I know feminists are going to hate this, but this is the truth. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells women to cover. And a man will also be held accountable for not restraining himself, for not lowering his gaze, and not walking away from the situation. Okay, so these are the women that the backburners usually are. Okay, if they're not seducing men with their physical appearance, they will be seducing men with their speech and the text messages and getting into his head psychologically and messing with his psyche. And these are for the women who cannot go out and display themselves in such a way because maybe they wear hijab. So it's easier for them to just work on the emotions of a man and mess with his head that way. All right, so I hope that's answered that question for you, because it's important that we know this. It's important that women know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has asked us to dress a certain way to protect families. Okay, because when you're seducing men left, right and centre, you're ruining his marriage. Even if he has a responsibility to lower his gaze, you're not making it an easy task for him. So that's why this hadith is applied to narcissistic women who are out to do this intentionally. They don't fear Allah. They don't care about anything the Prophet ﷺ says. They're just out for their own benefit. They have something in mind that they want and they're going to get it by hook or by crook. They don't care. And that's why men have to be 10 times more vigilant when it comes to narcissistic women, because you're dealing with women who don't care about the deen anyway. So you're allowing these women to completely corrupt you. And for what? For what? You're trying your best to be a good Muslim, but you're allowing a demon to ruin it for you. That's a sign of your weakness. Okay, they're only doing what Iblis tells them to do, what their qareen is telling them to do. And if you obey the qareen, you're falling into shirk. So Allah's laws have to always come above everyone else and every desire you have, so that you can combat this fitna. Okay, because you can't stop it. You cannot stop women from going out dressed like this. There will always be narcissistic women in societies. If they existed in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, you think they're not going to exist now? Of course they do. So instead of moaning about women and how they dress, check yourself and your gaze. Just walk past and lower your gaze. That's it. That's all you have to do, because you have no control over what those women do. So just lower your gaze and keep walking. That's all you have to do. But you blame women because you're not strong enough to fight that fitna. So now you blame them for what they wear, when actually the blame is upon you and your weakness within yourself, because you're unable to lower your gaze and walk away. So all the men who keep bashing women, all these dawah bros, all these red pill men who keep saying women are fitna, you know, this and that, we're falling into zina. Why are you falling into zina? Are you that weak? Are you that weak to let demons overpower you? Just walk away. Lower your gaze and walk away. Go and find a nice woman to marry. Someone you're attracted to. Problem solved. Only a weak man cries about fitna all the time and moans about the way women are dressed. Don't give these women access to your life and there'll be no fitna. Stop talking to these women, there'll be no fitna. Don't give your number to this woman or take her number or ask for her Snapchat and there'll be no fitna. The fitna only happens when you allow this person access into your life. So if a man has been fumbled by one of these satanic women and he blames the way she was dressed on it, just know he is an extremely weak man. His iman is low, he's not got a strong character, and he doesn't stand up to his values and principles. He doesn't have the ability to do that because he's not an alpha man. Man children always fall victim to satanic women because those women have a lot more power over them. Okay, all these man children, dawah bros who are moaning about fitna, I'm telling you, they are the weakest of men because an alpha man can control himself. Okay, I needed to make that point because so many men use the excuse of that for cheating on an empathic woman with a backburner. It's not acceptable. Okay, if a man cheats on you with a satanic woman, he's to be booted out and to never be allowed back in. Because you have no business dealing with such a weak man like that who is a liability to you in your life. Okay, he's a liability. You don't need someone who's going to sink the ship all the time. Okay, he doesn't have the emotional intelligence or any wisdom to be able to keep a ship afloat and going in the right direction. He is a criminal who will always sink your ship and then leave you to deal with it. You'll be out at sea on your own. Because this type of man is very easily manipulated, and that's scary. Okay? If you stay with a man who's easily manipulated, you're in a lot of trouble. Because they're manipulated by demons. And if they are controlled by demons, what kind of qawwam are you going to have? You're not going to have a qawwam, you're going to have a highly trained circus monkey as a husband to steer that ship for you. Okay, because he's a monkey for everyone. What monkey hears, monkey obeys. Okay, he's always going to be obeying the orders of his own kind because that is the language they understand. In Surah An-Nisa, ayah 120, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يَعِدُهُمْ وَيُمَنِّيهِمْ وَمَا يَعِدُهُمُ الشَّيْطَانُ إِلَّا غُرُورًا. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Satan only makes them false promises and deludes them with empty hopes. Truly, Satan promises them nothing but delusion. Okay? Now, I want you to imagine that the backburner has been overtaken and controlled by her evil qareen, who is a soldier of Iblis. I want you to see and understand that this is exactly what the backburners do to men who are trying their best to get better in life and be closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to do the right thing and be alpha and step into their masculine roles. When the backburner comes into his life, that's who she is. She is a woman who makes him false promises and she deludes him with empty hopes because she promises him nothing but delusion. It's delusional what they promise them because they sell them this life that is better, right? They want them to see that the grass is greener on the other side, but she knows it's a delusion. She knows it's a scam. And he's been blinded by her satanic mission because of how she's presented it, right? She's very sexually appealing now. She's more beautiful to him now. She's more exciting, more fun, more interesting than the empathic woman he has at home. So she's managed to capture him with the help of Iblis and his soldier, and she has taken him away from the good path because he's easily manipulated. And he fell into the trap of Iblis, and he has given her qareen an award, a trophy, for bringing down a Muslim who was trying to get close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and have a good, clean life. Okay, he goes bragging to Iblis, this is what I managed to do today. This is what I managed to do today. And all you lot think that when you get the back burner, you've won. All of you women who think that the narc man-child who left you for a promiscuous woman or a satanic woman is going to be happy in his life. You think he's going to have blessings in his life. His life is being run by Iblis. How can he be happy? It never lasts long with the back burner, I'm telling you. It doesn't last long. Before you know it, they've broken up because she's sick of him because he's not the man he was when he was with you. Or he sees her toxic satanic side and he realizes that she scammed him out of the best situation he had. She scammed him out of the best thing that ever happened to him in his life. She scammed him out of a safe space where he finally found peace and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. She scammed him out of all of that. And the day he realizes that is the day he gets destroyed. It's almost like a rebirth for him that day, because he didn't see it coming. He did not see it coming. He thought the grass was greener. He thought he'd have a better life, that he's going to a woman who understands him more because she's known him for longer. She knows his faults. She knows about all his addictions and habits because they used to engage in them together. She knows him too well to abandon him. But when the day comes, when she betrays him, abandons him, kicks him out of her life, and does the worst things to him, is the day his nafs gets completely butchered, completely destroyed. I'm going to record another podcast, inshallah, about what happens when a narcissist's nafs gets destroyed. Okay, it's a whole podcast on its own. But that's the day he has an awakening about his own kind, and he falls into a very deep despair that his own kind could do that to him. So now he doesn't have the empath, and his own kind of backstabbed him and scammed him. He doesn't know where to go, so he falls into a crisis. He doesn't know who to turn to, because I promise you they didn't see it coming. This is the last thing they expected after the way she chased him, begged him, pleaded for him to leave a good situation because she promised him and deluded him into believing that he would have a better life with her and that she was a better option where he could be himself and he could be happier and that she is his true soulmate. When he realizes that she scammed him and he has his breakdown and he goes through the destruction of his nafs, that's when he is faced with two options. So again, it's a mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that his eyes are now open to the situation, the rawness of that situation. He either gets better and seeks help out of desperation, or he will keep going down because he's got no hope. He keeps going down a very long, dark tunnel. And when he finally gets out of that long, dark tunnel, guess what he's going to turn into? A malignant psychopath. And I promise you, you ask any psychopath how they ended up in the life they have now, it's out of terrible pain. Okay, they went through excruciating pain that they felt as a result of being betrayed by their own kind, and they turned evil to the max. Okay, they just turned evil with everyone, not just empathic people. Psychopaths are evil to everyone. And it's because they learned earlier in life that even their own kind will betray them and backstab them and scam them. And that's why they don't trust anyone or have any remorse when they harm people. Okay, so if this person does not find Allah when they go through that terrible pain of betrayal, if they don't find good people there for them at that time, I'm not saying you should go back. I keep saying this. I'm talking about other people who come across their lives, okay, like Samaritans, people who work in charities, people who work in mental health sectors. They are the ones who would take care of them, right? Mental health, hospitals, all of that. A lot of man children and women children, they go to mental health asylums and hospitals when they reach destruction point because they lose it completely. They get depressed, suicidal, the lot. So if he does not wake up and realize that I need to go back to Allah, unfortunately, there is an extremely high chance that if he's not helped by other people in that time period, he's going to turn into a malignant psychopath. And this is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to us in Surah Al-A'raf, Ayah 27, Ya Bani Adam, لا يفتننكم الشيطان كما أخرج أبويكم من الجنة ينزع عنهما لباسهما ليريهما سوآتهما إنه يراكم هو وقبيله من حيث لا ترونهم إنا جعلنا الشياطين أولياء للذين لا يؤمنون. O children of Adam, let Satan not tempt you, as he removed your parents from paradise, stripping them of their clothing to show them their private parts. Indeed, Satan sees you, he and his tribe, from where you do not see them. Indeed, we have made the devils guardians to those who do not believe. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here uses the word awliya, which comes from wali. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that narcissistic individuals who are always tempted by Iblis and they always fall into his trap have taken Iblis as a wali over them and all of his tribe. So all of Iblis's soldiers are the ones who have authority over narcissists, okay, and people who choose to not follow the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's interesting here to see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions the story of Adam alayhi salam because Allah is warning us about satanic people. So if you are looking at this ayah from the perspective of someone who is being scammed by a backburner, Allah tells the men, O children of Adam, do not let the satanic person, the satanic backburner, the satanic woman scam you out of a safe space, okay, which is your home, the home where you are feeling peace, where you're happy, where you're elevating, where there is mawadda. Remember I told you that mawadda is the kind of love that elevates you. You can only get that kind of love from an empath. So it's a blessing that you're in that environment. However, Iblis and his soldiers, they send people to take you out of that paradise. Okay, this is your paradise on earth. So Allah's warning people, O children of Adam, do not let Iblis scam you the same way he scammed Adam alayhi salam and Hawa out of paradise. And Allah warns us as well, because this is the behavior of devils. Okay, this is the behavior of the jinn, the evil ones, to lie in wait in the background. Okay, that's what they do. The evil jinn will hang around in the background and wait for you to miss your adhkar, wait for you to miss your salah, so they can ambush you spiritually. That's what they do. Your qareen waits for you to ignore the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so he can start with his waswas. Backburners are the same. Okay, they wait in the wings. Indeed, Iblis and his soldiers see you from where you do not see them. You don't see it coming. Because the backburners will watch you for a long time and study your relationship. They'll pretend to be your friend. I'm talking to the man-children here. They will study everything about this empathic woman you're with. And then they ambush you. That's what they do. That is satanic behavior. I've said it 100 times. These people have satanic spirits because they operate in the same way. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us Iblis and his soldiers operate. We know this. That's what backburners do. They'll pretend to be your friend the same way Iblis pretended to be the friend of Adam alayhi salam. And he did this to gain his trust. So he scammed him into eating from the fruit, knowing he's not going to get far with it. Right? He wants to win. It's a competition for him. So the backburner will always be in competition with the good woman or the good man. And that's why they have to ruin the happiness of the empath, because they don't want her to find true love. And they also want to ruin the life of this man-child who is trying to improve so that he can have a loving home. That's not what they want. Okay? I told you, Iblis's soldiers get rewarded the most when they break up a good family. Jabir radiallahu anhu reported that the Prophet ﷺ said, Iblis places his throne upon water. He then sends his soldiers to create problems between people. The nearer to him in rank are those who are the most notorious in creating problems. One of them comes and says, I did so and so. And he says, you have done nothing. Then another amongst them comes and says, I did not spare this man until I sowed the seed of discord between him and his wife. Then Iblis goes near him and says, you have done very well. And then he embraces him and rewards him. So the one Iblis embraces is the qareen of the backburner. And the second one he embraces after that will be the qareen of the man-child who convinced him to go off with the backburner and leave behind his paradise. Abdullah ibn Amr radiallahu anhu reported that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, الدنيا متاع وخير متاع الدنيا المرأة الصالحة. So this world is an enjoyment, and the best enjoyment in this dunya is a righteous wife. Okay, so that's how we know that the Prophet ﷺ, he valued a righteous wife over everything this dunya could possibly give you, because that's where you find your paradise on earth. Okay, and this is what the majority of people want to steal from you. Okay, it doesn't have to be a romantic backburner he's involved with. This could be anyone. So yes, a backburner can be a jealous mother, a jealous sister, a jealous brother, a jealous friend. They will get into the head of someone to cause troubles in that person's marriage or relationship if they're not married yet, so that they break apart and they cause damage that is not repairable. Because what the man-child does to the empath is so painful that it causes a high-level empath to never want to go back again. And even though they might forgive the man-child for what happened, they would never forget it, and they would never take a man-child back, because they put their all into that relationship. So when they lose the empath, they lose the empathic woman for good. That righteous woman who was sent to him as a blessing. She was sent to him as a sign that good people exist. She was sent to him as a mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and as a lifeline. So all of these are signs that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to guide you to the right path when He places the right people in your life. Okay, when you find God-fearing people and people who love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala come into your life, it means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to change your environment. He wants to take you away from everything that's toxic, and He gives you the means to do so. So all of these are signs for people who reflect. However, if you are an ungrateful person who dismisses the signs of Allah and the mercy of Allah for you and the gifts of Allah, then Allah will surely take away the blessings that He gave you to improve your life. Ali radiallahu anhu said, being ungrateful for a blessing causes it to be taken away, and being thankful for it causes it to last. And he takes this from the ayah where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Ibrahim, ayah 14, وَإِذْ تَأَذَّنَ رَبُّكُمْ لَإِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ وَلَإِن كَفَرْتُمْ إِنَّ عَذَابِي لَشَدِيدٌ. And remember when your Lord proclaimed, if you are grateful, I will surely increase you in blessings. But if you deny the blessing, indeed my punishment is severe. Now the punishment here becomes the backburner, who later scams the narcissist. Okay, so you have to face the consequences here in the dunya, and you will face them in the akhirah if you do not repent before you die from this mistake. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says here, وَلَئِن كَفَرْتُمْ. Al-kufr is taking Iblis as a wali over Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it's Iblis who causes you to leave behind your paradise and gifts that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you. So what good can come out of someone running off to a backburner? What good can come out of it? Absolutely nothing. She didn't win, and he didn't find happiness, even though he thought he could find happiness with this person. But no one will ever find happiness in a state of kufr and with satanic people. Okay, satanic people are all deceptors, manipulators, liars. They are people who are vile in their character. Okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-An'am, Ayah 4, وَمَا تَأْتِيهِم مِّنْ آيَةٍ مِّنْ آيَاتِ رَبِّهِمْ إِلَّا كَانُوا عَنْهَا مُعْرِضِينَ. Whenever a sign comes to them from their Lord, they turn away from it. Ayah 5, فَقَدْ كَذَّبُوا بِالْحَقِّ لَمَّا جَاءَهُمْ فَسَوْفَ يَأْتِيهِمْ أَنْبَاءُ مَا كَانُوا بِهِ يَسْتَهْزِئُونَ. They have indeed rejected the truth when it came to them, so they will soon face the consequence of their ridicule. Okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying here, they ridicule the blessings. They mock them. Okay, they mock the empath. They think that by betraying the empath and going to a satanic backburner, that they're winning. So they will face the consequence of their ridicule. And what is the consequence? Ayah 6. أَلَمْ يَرَوْا كَمْ أَهْلَكْنَا مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ مِنْ قَرْنٍ مَكَّنَّاهُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ مَا لَمْ نُمَكِّنْ لَكُمْ وَأَرْسَلْنَا السَّمَاءَ عَلَيْهِمْ مِدْرَارًا وَجَعَلْنَا الْأَنْهَارَ تَجْرِي مِنْ تَحْتِهِمْ فَأَهْلَكْنَاهُمْ بِذُنُوبِهِمْ وَأَنْشَأْنَا مِنْ بَعْدِهِمْ قَرْنًا آخَرِينَ. Have they not seen how many disbelieving people we destroyed before them? We had made them more established in the land than you. We sent down abundant rain for them and made rivers flow at their feet. Then we destroyed them for their sins and replaced them with other people who were better. So in these verses, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about the polytheists who kept rebelling against the prophets. Okay? And they had everything. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them everything. He gave them so much rain, which is a rizq, because from rain grow crops and food, and they have everything in abundance. So Allah is saying here that, do you not learn from other people's mistakes who made the same mistakes you did? Like, are you that stupid to not learn? And we gave them even more than you. We gave them everything they could want. We gave them money, we gave them status, we gave them loads of blessings, beautiful children. We sent down abundant rain for them. We gave them everything they needed. But then they got destroyed for their sins and they were replaced with better people. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you here in this ayah that you can also apply this to your own personal situation. So if you become so arrogant over Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's blessings and you dismiss them and you choose the haram over the halal, Allah will take everything from you and it will cause your destruction. Okay, because you weren't grateful. Allah will take it all from you and He will replace you with a better person. And that's why I tell empaths to be patient, because after this type of experience with a narcissistic man-child, the empath man will come. Okay? Whether it's 5 years, 10 years, 3 months, 6 months, only Allah knows. If you need that empath man in your life, he will turn up. Okay? But you have to be patient, because Allah has promised that when He removes the ungrateful, He will replace them with grateful people who will value this gift. Okay, value this blessing. Allah can easily replace people. And He says in Surah Al-Mujadala, Ayah 58, استحوذ عليهم الشيطان فأنساهم ذكر الله أولئك حزب الشيطان ألا إن حزب الشيطان هم الخاسرون. Satan has overcome these people and made them forget the remembrance of Allah. Because they started off, remember, wanting to become closer to Allah and do better in their lives. So the Satanic people who got involved made them forget the remembrance of Allah. These are the people of Satan. Unquestionably, the people of Satan, they will always be the losers. So again, I don't want to hear from anyone. Why did the backburner win? Why did the backburner have it better with the narcissist? These are all losers. These are all people who have lost in this dunya and the next. Okay, so no one come to me telling me I can't get over the fact that the backburner took him. I don't want to hear it. Okay, this is your evidence that they never win. Okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says also in Surah Al-A'raf, ayah 146, سأصرف عن آياتي الذين يتكبرون في الأرض بغير الحق وإن يروا كل آية لا يؤمنوا بها وإن يروا سبيل الرشد لا يتخذوه سبيلا وإن يروا سبيل الغي يتخذوه سبيلا ذلك بأنهم كذبوا بآياتنا وكانوا عنها غافلين. I will turn away from my signs those who are arrogant upon the earth without any right. And if they should see every sign I give them, they will not believe in it. And if they see the way of consciousness, they will not adopt it as a way. But if they see the way of error and wrongdoing, they will adopt it as a way. That is because they have denied our signs and they were heedless of them. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you here, let them go. There's nothing you can do about this. They are not guided people. Okay, there's nothing you can do. If Allah hasn't guided them, you can't guide them. It's impossible. So if a narcissistic person has left you for someone else and they have been brainwashed by someone else, and that could be anyone in their life, then let them go. You have to. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you and promising you they will be replaced with better. Because if you are expecting them to stay and be loyal to you because of everything you did for them that made their lives better, if you're expecting them to be grateful, then you don't understand narcissistic personality disorder. Because these people are not grateful to Allah, let alone be grateful to people. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Ghafir, ayah 61, الله الذي جعل لكم الليل لتسكنوا فيه والنهار مبصرا إن الله لذو فضل على الناس ولكن أكثر الناس لا يشكرون. It is Allah who made the night for you to rest in and the day so bright. Surely Allah is ever bountiful to humanity, but most people are ungrateful. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also tells us that many people will be ungrateful for guidance. Okay, so when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to guide them to the right path and He sends them the right people to help them, they won't be grateful for that. Because Allah sent prophets to many people, many pagans and polytheists, to learn about the right way to live. Okay, and about monotheism and to learn about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they used to reject what the prophets came with. They used to mock them and ridicule them, even though these prophets were the mercy sent by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help these people. In Surah Yusuf, ayah 38, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us what Yusuf alayhi salam said to two men who came to ask him for dream interpretations, because he wanted them to know that the dream interpretations didn't come from magic or anything like that, and that it came from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he said, وَاتَّبَعْتُ مِلَّةَ آبَاءِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَإِسْحَاقَ وَيَعْقُوبَ مَا كَانَ لَنَا أَن نُشْرِكَ بِاللَّهِ مِنْ شَيْءٍ ذَلِكَ مِنْ فَضْلِ اللَّهِ عَلَيْنَا وَعَلَى النَّاسِ وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَ النَّاسِ لَا يَشْكُرُونَ. Yusuf alayhi salam said, I follow the faith of my fathers, Ibrahim and Ishaq and Yaqub. It is not right for us to associate anything with Allah in worship. This is part of Allah's grace upon us and the rest of humanity, but most people are not grateful for this. So as you can see, being grateful for guidance and being a Muslim believer is rewardable because you're acknowledging this gift that you have from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So whoever throws it away for fleeting pleasure or for a haram relationship or to follow Iblis and his soldiers, then they are the losers. Okay? Abu Sa'id al-Khudri radiallahu anhu reported that the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam said, "Man lam yashkur al-nas, lam yashkur Allah." Okay, whoever is never thankful to people is never thankful to Allah. So ungrateful people will be taken out of your life with divine intervention. Okay, if they're not grateful to Allah, do not expect these people to ever be grateful to you. Just ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to convert all your good efforts into helping someone ungrateful into rewards for you in this life and the next, inshallah. Just make dua for that. Because Allah is so merciful, He wouldn't let it go to waste. All of it will be saved for you as rewards in this dunya and in the hereafter, inshallah. Okay? Nothing good that you ever do for anyone, even if that person is ungrateful, even if it gets you nowhere, even if the marriage falls apart, even if you never see that person again, even if someone took them away from you, doesn't go to waste. Allah will convert it into blessings, or He'll convert it into rewards. You make the dua for that, and you'll find it as golden nuggets in this life and the next, inshallah. Because the outcome of our efforts is in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's hands, it's not in ours. We have no control over the outcome. We just get disappointed when we don't get the outcome we want from our investment and from the effort and hard work we put into someone or something. But ultimately, the outcome is with Allah. So we have to let it go, and we have to accept the divine decree that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not willed for this person to be guided at this time. They still need to learn lessons about Iblis and his soldiers. Okay, they're still on their journey. You were just a part of their journey because Allah wanted you to learn something very important about yourself and your character. Okay, there was something that you needed to change in yourself as well so that you don't get caught up in the same situation again. Someone asked, how do I know if there is a backburner involved in someone's life? And could they be new supply rather than a backburner? So the main indicator that there is a backburner or a new supply involved in someone's life would be the sudden switch in someone's attitude with their phone. So if they suddenly become very secret with their phone, they take their phone everywhere, they won't let you have access to it, and they keep changing their passcodes, they get very paranoid when you're around their phone, when you touch their phone, they get very defensive. Yeah, those are all signs that there's a backburner or a new supply. Okay? If the backburner is a sister, brother, mother, friend, then they will become paranoid about you reading their messages. Okay, because they're talking about you. There's a smear campaign going on behind your back, and there are messages being exchanged. They are talking about you. He is complaining about you. He's telling lies about you, or they are brainwashing him about you. So they are telling lies about you. They are giving toxic opinions and toxic advice. He doesn't want you to see any of that. Okay, that can come from family members and friends too. And I'll talk about them more later on in this podcast. But for now, I would say the primary indicator is a change of attitude with their phone and a change of attitude in general. Okay, they start complaining more. They start becoming very moody. Okay, because now there's pressure being put on them to leave you for them. Okay, someone is putting pressure on them and they're feeling bad, they're feeling guilty, they're feeling overwhelmed. they're feeling so many things. So much is going on because of this person's massive mouth. Because they go blabbing about you to anyone and everyone. They say the good things, the bad things, and they're very swayed easily by people's opinions. I told you, they're a circus monkey. Yeah, that's what they do. They get passed around from person to person, and they jump from tree to tree, and every time they do something that pleases a backburner or a toxic person, they get given bananas, as reward. They get rewarded by these people. Their ego gets rewarded. And they feel really good about themselves. They feel powerful. These people are there to inflate their ego. And when their ego is inflated, stroked, validated, it encourages them to go further down that path with them. Okay? So that's the primary indicator, when they just suddenly change and they lose interest in you. They become boring, moody, grumpy, and they're always overthinking. They want time alone. They see you as being overbearing, controlling. They complain about the things that they never complained about before. Things that were never an issue before become an issue now. That's when you know there's a backburner involved. Now, when it comes to the new supply, if a man does not have a backburner supply, he will look for new supply. And while he looks for new supply, he will turn to his family members and friends as the backburners, because they are the pit stop until he finds someone else. So he has to please them and do whatever it is that they want him to do with you in order for them to accommodate him while he looks for new supply. Now, some men have no interest at all in romantic relationships. So they might not even look for romantic supply. They will just permanently keep their family members and friends as their long-term supply. Okay, they will be their long-term backburners. So supply will come and go. Wives, husbands, romantic relationships, boyfriends, girlfriends, whatever it is that they choose to do. But they will always keep their family members and friends as backup supplies. Now, for a narcissistic man-child, the main backburner supply here will be the mother. And the secondary backburner supply will be a sister, a toxic sister, especially if she's a twin. Okay, if she is his twin sister, forget it. Honestly, she will always be his backburner supply. And if he doesn't have a twin, he will have a toxic sister who's very controlling, and she's usually older than him. Now, there are two types of man-children in this situation when it comes to their mothers. The first one is the mummy's boy, who has a very strange relationship with his mum, and she's always in the picture because she's obsessed with him. She has a very unhealthy possessiveness over him, and she babies him and enables his narcissism far too much. This type of woman is always the backburner. She doesn't go anywhere because she almost treats him like her husband, because her husband is either abusive, absent, he might have passed away, he might be emotionally unavailable. Whatever the reason is, she has directed her attention to this boy who is the golden child. He's very good looking. She's invested all her love and care and attention into him, but it's not healthy love and attention and care. It's an investment into the golden child so she can benefit from this long-term slave. Okay, she wants him to be her son and her uncle and her brother and her husband. She basically wants to be his wife in a very strange, twisted and complicated way. So I've said it in previous podcasts where this type of man will have a very strange relationship with his mother, where you will see him being spoon-fed by her as an adult. She will sing to him. She might even sleep in the same bed as him. And she will treat him like he's 5 all the time. And if she's not treating him like a baby, she will treat him like her husband. So she's obsessed with him. This type of mother is very jealous of an empathic woman who ends up with him. Okay, let's say it's an arranged marriage or because empaths don't marry these types of mummy boys. But let's say, for argument's sake, it was an arranged marriage and he ended up marrying an empath. This empath will have many good qualities about her. Okay, she might cook really well, sew really well, she's got a job, a great career, she's talented, she can paint, she's great with Quran recitation. The mother will be so jealous of this empath, she will compete with her to be better. She'll compete with her to be better because she now wants her son back because he's seen how amazing this woman is. He's being inspired by her, influenced by her, and the mother feels like she's losing her grip on her child. So she will start to do petty things to reel him back in. Okay, she's in the background. She's the back burner, trying to tempt him to give her the attention that she craves from him, the time, the love, the effort, even if it's at the detriment of his marriage. She'll call him at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, crying, "My knee hurts, my back hurts, my head hurts," and he'll go running. And she knows that this will really upset his wife, but she keeps doing it to disrupt the marriage. Okay, Iblis's soldiers are working through her to disrupt this marriage. So she will do things as well, like compete with the daughter-in-law by cooking his favourite meals all the time. She might even take classes to learn how to paint. She might go and learn all the things that the daughter-in-law is doing if she's got hobbies. She wants to prove to her son that he's not missing out on anything if he comes back home, because she doesn't care if his marriage gets ruined over this. She wants a divorce to happen. Okay, she wants her son back. She's losing grip on him and she's panicking because she believes that he belongs to her. The only reason why she agreed to the marriage is to show society that my son can get married. My son is wanted by good people. You know, there's nothing wrong with my son. He's not gay. He's not anything like that. But deep down, she just wants him to herself. So the narcissistic mummy boy is the one who suffers the most with a mother like this, because she never leaves him alone, and all of these marriages break down. And she increases the dose of this when you have a baby, because she knows that's when you need your husband the most to help you take care of the baby, and that's when her calls increase. So she's always got a problem to complain about, and when she complains to him about someone in the family, the call can go on for 2 hours. She knows she's taking up your time. She will call about a faulty tap. "I need you to come and fix my tap. I need you to take me shopping. I need you to come and massage my knee. I need you to take your sister here and there. I need you to do this, and I need you to take me to my doctor appointment," even though he's got 6 other brothers who can do it, living with her in the same house. But no, she wants the golden child to do it because she has to maintain a grip on him. He might call her one day and say, "Oh, Mum, my wife made the best chocolate chip cookies today, and they're the best I've ever tasted. You have to come over and taste them. They're that good. Or I'll send you some because you've got to try them. I've never tasted cookies this great." Oh my goodness, she hates that so much. She will have a breakdown. She'll be ill for 3 days over that. He'll have his siblings texting him, telling him, "What did you say to Mum over the phone? She's just passed out. She's having a panic attack. She's hyperventilating. We need to take her to the hospital because of the cookies." I'm not even exaggerating. This is what a lot of mother-in-laws are like. And then she will go on YouTube and watch every cookie tutorial there is until she perfects a cookie to compete with the ones your empathic wife made. Okay, everyone will be like, "What's wrong with Mum?" All she does day and night is watch cookie tutorials. That's how obsessive they get when they have to be the best at everything. They have to trample the empathic wife and be the best at everything. If you go to a wedding together and you're wearing a really nice dress that's pink and everyone compliments you on your nice pink dress, she might leave the event, go home, get into a pink dress and come back. They do weird things like that. I've seen mother-in-laws go to weddings of their sons and they go wearing white, like white gowns and, pretty much wearing a wedding dress. And it really upsets the bride. I used to be a wedding photographer. I used to see crazy things. So anything her son compliments you on, she will compete with. Okay? If he tells his mum, I feel so much peace when I'm at home. I rest my head on her lap and she strokes my head and it just makes me feel so happy. Guess what his mother's going to start doing? You got it. So it's not even funny because I know how much of a dilemma this is for people. But it's funny in the sense that a grown woman who has children would act in such a ridiculous way like this. And then what she'll do when you guys are having problems and he goes, because he tells her everything, he will tell her about the pills you take to stop yourself from getting pregnant and the 100 grams you managed to lose in weight that morning. And he will tell her about the grey hair you found on your head when you were looking in the mirror that afternoon. She will know about everything. Everything. I say this with pain because of how annoying it is. And because he tells her everything, that will include the bad times you have, the problems you have, the arguments you have. She will know every detail. And this is when she does everything he loves. She'll pamper him, spoil him. She'll stroke his hair. She'll give him massages. She'll be super sweet, making all his favourite food, the best chocolate chip cookies he ever had. Will be waiting for him nice and warm on her kitchen table every time he goes to visit. Okay? She will do that and a lot more. And even if he's in the wrong and she knows he's in the wrong, he's the cause of all the problems in his marriage, she doesn't care. She's got her son back. She's got her baby back, her husband back. And she will say to him, you can stay here for as long as you like until you fix your problems. But during the time he stays with her, she will feed his head with so much poison. Oh, that poison will drip every day into his psyche until he grows resentment and hatred for you over time. Okay, he will start to see everything you do as toxic behavior, when actually the mother is projecting onto him what she does to him, but she's saying that you're the one who's doing that to him. You're the one who's being controlling, manipulative, you're deceiving him, you're changing him. It's the mother who's doing that to him, but she's projecting all the issues onto the marriage so that he looks at you as being the toxic person. And when you have issues with his mother, he will defend his mother because mummy dearest is always going to be there for him. The back burner. Okay? She enables him. And when you enable someone as the back burner, there is no incentive for anyone to work on the marriage. Okay? She lets him off the hook very easily. So he's like, well, if you don't like my mum, if you don't like me, if you don't like the situation, we're going to stay living with my mother or move in with my mother because I prefer to be around my mother. If you don't like it, you can leave. Where's the incentive for him to make it work? It's the same with any back burner. She will give him a way out of his problems, an escape, so that he doesn't work on the marriage. He doesn't work on his problems and fixing them. So when a back burner is there, it's dangerous for a man. And it's dangerous for a woman too. Like I said, you can apply all of this to a woman as well. A woman has these issues with her father, who is very strange in his relationship with her. But it's more common to see mummy's boys in these predicaments. So men who have back burners, they give up on their marriages very easily because no work is needed. They are being sold another dream that they can go back to where they can have a better life. Why would they work on the marriage? They're going to abandon you and the kids and everything they have for greener grass that turns out to be yellow and dry and hard. It's just a mirage that they saw. Yeah, it's like when you think that you're seeing water in a desert, but it's just a mirage. Because Iblis has deluded them. He's blinded them. So in this situation, the mother-in-law usually wins because she becomes too overbearing and too overwhelming for an empathic woman who's had enough of dealing with such a strange mother-in-law. So she leaves her husband to his mother, and that's that. Okay, the mother will do the same thing with another woman until Allah sends her the most narcissistic woman in the village as a daughter-in-law to show that woman what narcissism really is. Okay, she hasn't seen a narcissistic woman until she meets the narcissistic daughter-in-law. If anyone has a narc sister-in-law, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So that will be her payback. Okay, she'll get one of those horrible daughter-in-laws who forces her husband to move to another city, another country, and this is what will destroy the narc mother. Okay, only a narcissistic daughter-in-law can handle her because she knows how to deal with her son, because her son is used to the same type of woman. So only a narc woman will be able to deal with the mummy's boy. She will whip him into shape, not in a good way. He will have his deen depleted from that, because he will be a complete and utter emasculated doormat. And the mother-in-law will cry for the empathic woman who left because of all her crazy shenanigans. She will start to compare the narcissistic daughter-in-law to you. I had a wonderful daughter-in-law. She was kind, she was patient. Narcissistic daughter-in-law is like, shut up. I don't want to hear it. We're moving to the other side of the world whether you like it or not. You can compare me with every woman on this planet. I don't care. We're moving. And that will be that. Because that's the consequence she will have to pay for ruining your marriage with her son. Okay? And this type of mother-in-law as well will try to undo all the work you've done with him. So if he was getting better in his deen, she will try to undo that. So for example, she knows he has to go and get ready to go to Friday prayer. She will insist that he takes her shopping at that time until slowly he stops going to Jummah prayer. They do things like this because they feel very intimidated by the good work you've done in raising her son, because she couldn't do it as well as you did. So she has to make a point of it to show you, and it's not you who raises my son. I'm going to take him back to the version he was that I raised. Not the one you raised, the one I raised. Because you're not better than me. It can't be you who teaches him how to pray properly and go to Salat al-Jum'ah and read Quran and be better in his life and grow a beard maybe and all those things. It's not you who does that for him. He was good enough when you first met him. They hate it when you instill religious principles in their kids because they feel threatened by the fact and ashamed and embarrassed that they could never do that for them. So they don't want to see the continuation of that in their sons because it's a constant reminder of you. So if it means eradicating religion from their son's life, so be it. Because they don't want to be reminded that you were always better than them, you were always more pious, and you were a better person. And this type of mother-in-law as well will also compete in religious matters with you. So if he praises you for praying tahajjud, all of a sudden the mother-in-law will start praying tahajjud and she'll make it known to everyone. Last night I prayed tahajjud. She wants her son to hear it. And he's like, oh wow, mom, you're doing really well. She wants the validation. It's crazy, but that's what happens. Okay? That's what happens with that type of mother-in-law who has a strange relationship with her son. Now, if the backburner is the sister, twin sister, or older narc sister, she will have control over him because she will always look at him as her baby brother. Okay? And it's more toxic if she's a twin because she feels more entitled to him. But if she's older, she will look at him like, he's my baby brother, he does as I say. And narcissists are always intimidated and threatened by any empath. So if you highlight all her flaws by you being in good character all the time, she will hate you for no reason. She'll be very jealous of you, that you can be such a lovely, loved person by everyone. You're just so kind and you're so chilled. And she's the opposite of that. So you always highlight what's wrong with her. She will feed his mind with poison because she wants his loyalty to lie with her every time you guys have a problem, because she will always create problems, especially if you live together in the same house. So if she is used to him always listening to her, going to her for advice, looking up to her, admiring her, maybe acting like a second mother to him, if she's used to that and all of a sudden he's putting you on the pedestal instead of her, be prepared for her to create problems. Okay, she won't like you, she'll be jealous of you. In her mind, she's like, that's my brother. His loyalty lies with me. I'm the priority. And she will do things to sabotage your marriage. Every time things go wrong, she will give him the worst advice. Or she'll keep poking him for information about you and your problems. She nags him, pokes him. That's why he doesn't want you to see their messages. Because of the things they say about you behind your back. A man who's got nothing to hide, or a woman who's got nothing to hide, will show you the messages without any issues. But when these conversations are happening behind your back, they don't want you to touch their phones at all. They would rather die. They would rather dive to the depths of the ocean with their phone than have you ever get a passcode and look into the conversations they're having. Okay, so the toxic sister is the one who secretly wants you to break up, even though they show you that they love you and they like you. Not all the time, but they will put on that, that facade that they want your marriage to work. Even the mother-in-law, she will always make it look like to him that she wants his marriage to, succeed. In her heart, she doesn't. Okay, so it's only because he's putting you as a priority. He's putting you on a pedestal and they don't like it. They always want to be the priority. So they will increase what they want from him. They will increase their requests. Can you take me here? Can you pick me up from this place? Can you drive me to this wedding? I need to go to Birmingham to go and pick up a car. Can you take me? I need you to fly with me to Belgium because I need a mahram. Constant requests until the marriage breaks down. It's that simple. Now, when it comes to backburner friends, they will try to sabotage your relationship because they are jealous of what this man-child has. It's just pure jealousy and envy. If he's got male friends, they will wish they had you as a wife. If he's complaining about you and he's saying that we had this problem or that problem, they will inflate the problems times 10 because they don't want to see him succeed. They don't believe he deserves it. So they want to see him come crashing down after all the bragging he did about you and this new life he has. They don't like to see him elevate because it makes them feel insecure because they feel left behind in the swamp. So they're thinking, well, why should we be left here? And he elevates in his life and finds God and has this wonderful family. No, you're coming back with us. How dare you leave us? Who do you think you are to elevate and have this fancy life? Do you not remember who you are? Have you forgotten who you are? And they'll keep doing that to him until they sabotage your relationship with him. They will be so jealous and envious of what he's found. Okay? And then his friends will start asking him to come out with them. The gatherings will increase. The nights out will increase. He will start to get pushed back into an environment he escaped from. Shisha cafes, shisha bars, alcohol, nightclubs. They will push him into these things. Oh, come on, have a bit of fun. Why are you so boring now? A cigarette's not going to harm you. Having shisha is not going to harm you. One beer is not going to harm you. And all that kind of stuff, And then they put them in environments where there are promiscuous women around. It's their environment. It's the narc environment. Bad friends will drag him back down to the swamp he escaped from. Because they want to see him make a mistake. They want to see him cheat on you, right? Because they keep pushing him into the same environment. They want him to do something to mess up the relationship. So they're like, well, yeah, we told you didn't deserve her. We told you that you haven't changed. You haven't found God. All this rubbish about you finding religion. That's not for you. You're not a religious man. What are you talking about? And why are you allowing her to tell you that you can't go out with your friends? Yeah, so what if you've been out with us 4 times this week? You put your foot down, you tell her, sorry, a woman obeys me. A woman doesn't tell me what to do and what I can't do. If I want to go out with my friends, I'm going out with my friends. You tell her that. They start giving him bad advice, red pill advice. Yeah, who the hell does she think she is? Is she the leader of the household? You're the leader of the household. She can't stop you going out. She can't stop you doing what you want to do. She has to obey you. You don't obey her. Yeah, that's what you have to do. Put your foot down. Show her who's boss. Show her the red eye. Don't be a chicken. Yeah, don't be asking for no permission to go out with your friends. You're the man. You get to do whatever you want. Put your foot down. They keep pumping him with this kind of advice until the marriage breaks down. They keep telling him she's controlling you. She's changing you. You're so boring now. You're so uninteresting now. And you've lost a lot of your muscle because you're not going to the gym with us anymore. The reason why he's not going to the gym is because there are so many half-naked women in the gym. He doesn't want to be in that environment anymore. So now they're picking on his looks to attack his insecurities. Okay, they want him to feel unattractive. They want him to really feel like he's downgraded in his life. That his life is actually getting worse by being with this empath woman, and that she's boring and that she's no fun and all of that. So he starts to lean more towards his friends. He starts to agree with what his friends are saying, and now he becomes very defiant. I'm going to the gym whether you like it or not. I don't care if there are naked women there. You either trust me or you don't. And it just goes on and on and on until something major happens, like he betrays you, or you've just had enough and you just leave him to his friends. Because he's become obsessed about hanging around his friends, because he feels with them, again, he can be himself. They all have the same addictions. They all have the same issues. So he can smoke with them, drink with them, and do everything that he used to do, because he can't do those things with you. So if he doesn't have a backburner woman he's doing all those things with, he's going to do all of this with his backburner friends, who are all satanic. They don't want him on the right path, and they want to destroy everything he has with you and take him away from this paradise that all of them wish they had. Okay, all of them wish they had true love, mawadda, a good woman they can trust who's at home, and someone so nurturing and loving. Everyone wants that, even the narcissists, even the psychopaths. Everyone wants that. But the satanic mission of their qareens is to make sure that these beautiful families don't get built. Okay, they can't get built. So the satanic qareens will make sure they attack the weakest link in the equation. And it's usually the partner of the empath. They are the sacrifice for Iblis. Okay, because he's weak in his character. They usually catch him in the beginning when he's not had enough time without backburners in his life to work on himself. So like I said, the only time it can work with an empathic woman and a narc man-child is when there are no backburners at all in his life. And the only time it can work with an empathic man and a narc woman-child is when there are no backburners in her life to enable her bad behavior. She will grow and elevate with you as long as these bad people from her old environment are not there. And because they don't have strong boundaries put in with these people, they tend to slip back into this life. Okay, this is why, again, I told you, don't rush into marrying new Muslims, because a lot of new Muslims, they embrace Islam as a solution for their personality disorders. So if you rush into a marriage with them, you might find that within a year or 2 max, you'll be getting a divorce because the backburners in his life who don't like the fact that he or she has become Muslim are trying to drag them back into a satanic lifestyle. Okay, and you don't have the power to deal with that because you're not expecting it. So when it happens, you don't know how to deal with it. You're devastated. You're like, what the hell is happening? But that's what happens when you rush into a marriage with someone who isn't ready for everything that it comes with. The commitment, the loyalty, the dedication, the strength. You need all of these things to make a marriage work. And you also need to know your rights and responsibilities and your duties. And you need to stick by them. That's what alpha men do. They stick by their duties and responsibilities. And man children don't do that. They have to learn how to do that. And they're learning while they're with you. So while they're learning, if the back burner pops up, before he learns that, he's gone. He's finished. He's cooked meat. So it's the only way a narcissist can elevate, by getting rid of the back burners, or at least placing very strong boundaries. If anyone was to pop up in his life and give him bad advice or try to initiate conversations with him, he shuts that down immediately. It's the only way, because they will destroy him if he doesn't. They will destroy him. It's guaranteed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Satanic people will destroy you if you let them. Okay? Now, the other type of man-child who has a back burner mother is the one who doesn't like his mother. Okay? So he's not a mummy's boy. He's the opposite. He is someone who can't stand his mother. They don't get on. They're always fighting. He has so many childhood traumas from his mum, so many childhood wounds that he's not healed from, and he carries a lot of bitterness and resentment towards her. Okay, and he takes this out on every woman he comes across in his life. Any woman who reminds him of his mum will get punished. Okay, so if you look like her, act like her, talk like her, he's going to punish her through you, because all he sees is his mother. And sometimes he will stay with you for a period of time just so that he can take out all his wrath on you, because in his mind, psychologically, it's like he's taking out all that wrath on his own mother. He can't do that though, because if he did, his father might kill him. He might get arrested. So many things might happen to him, especially if he lives in a community where the elders will really butcher and shame him for treating his mother that way. So he looks for a vulnerable woman who is like his mother to take out all his wrath on. All right? So this type of man-child will use his mother as a back burner pit stop when he has no back burners left in his garage. And at the same time, he is unable to find new supply. So for example, he will be in a situation where he will be brutally and unexpectedly discarded by the narc woman he's with. Okay? He didn't see it coming. One day, she's like, I'm done. We're finished. We're over. And she ends it with him. Or he's with a codependent woman who one day decided to stand up for herself and walk away. Again, that would be unexpected. So he finds himself in a situation where he's quickly lost his supply, and the first thing he will do is go rummaging through his back burner collection. And he'll be panicking over this, okay, because he's now sending out multiple hoovers, and he's finding out that some people from his past have already blocked him. Some block him during the hoover. Some get really rude and tell him where to stick it. And some will ignore him. And some will be married, or they've moved on with other supplies. So he finds himself with no available back burners to fall back on. And then he gets desperate and he runs over to his emergency pit stop, and he's hoping and praying that those toxic codependent women who were obsessed with him, the ones he wasn't into, will be available for him to use and abuse. But nope, none of them are responding either, because now they've found other narcissists whom they're obsessed with. And before he knows it, he's going to get calls and texts from aggressive narcissistic men who are demanding to know, why are you calling my missus? So he'll find that as a huge hassle to deal with. And before he finds himself on someone's barbecue, he will run to Tinder, run to Minder and Muzmatch and all these dating and marriage apps to create as many profiles as he can to find new supply, because he is on a serious rebound mission. And this is why I don't like dating and marriage apps, because they are full of people who are looking for a quick rebound. So in the case he can't find someone, or it's proving to be a real struggle, he will go to his mother. Okay, she will be the back burner supply in this situation, who is the emergency pit stop. Because he can't stand her, he can't live with her, he doesn't like spending much time with her. But because she knows he is a product of her upbringing, she feels guilty. And she is the mother who treats you well when you marry him. She is the one who pampers you, and she's kind to you and loving and sweet. She's the one who wants to make sure that you stay. Okay, it's the mother of the narcissist who doesn't get on with her. So when he runs to her, she knows very well that she is the last resort, because he couldn't find anyone. So she will pamper him, spoil him, she will treat him well, she will welcome him with open arms, whether he's right, whether he's not. The fact that he ran to her is a big deal for this mother. Okay, because she sees now a chance for her to redeem herself in his eyes. So she will go out of her way to be as supportive as possible. And this is when you feel like you've been stabbed in the back, because she was always very supportive of you and him being together. And now she's taking his side. Now she's being sucked into his smear campaign and his victim story. And you're feeling very disappointed that the mother-in-law you loved so much and who you invested in so much has now turned against you. She's not turned against you. She is clinging on to this opportunity she has to redeem herself. Okay, she still loves you. She still thinks that you're the best person who ever came into this man's life. You brightened up their whole family. You made a huge difference in their family. You brought them together. You are the reason things started working out for them as a family, because you're the one who was the glue that brought them together, and you made everything great. So she will miss you terribly. But when she's presented with an opportunity like this, where she can show her son that he's the priority, she can show her son that love and that care that he missed out on as a child, she will grab that opportunity and she will be there for him. So it doesn't mean that she hates you. It doesn't mean that she's abandoned you. It just means that she has to show her loyalty to him in this situation, because these are very rare opportunities that she gets. And her heart does hurt for you, because this type of woman becomes more self-aware as she gets older, and she starts to feel really guilty for the narcissism she inflicted on her children. So she gets really happy when her son gets involved with a woman like you who turns his life around and makes him happy. She rewards you for that with extra kindness and care and attention. But when it all falls apart, she has to take his side. Even if that means never speaking to you again, because that's what he's asked her to do. And if he's got children from a previous marriage, you won't be able to speak to them either. She'll feel guilty for it, but there's nothing you can do in this situation. I'm going to record another podcast, inshallah, about what happens when you marry someone narcissistic who has children, because that in itself is a huge subject that needs its own podcast for me to address. So the only time this particular mother-in-law would turn around and be upset with you is when he tries to hoover you and you block the hoover. Or he's telling her so many lies about you in the smear campaign. Okay, she's now believing them. So she's thinking, it doesn't sound like her. It doesn't sound like she would do things like that. But he gives her such a convincing victim story to make her feel sorry for him and to stop her talking so positively about you, because every time she does that, he feels guilty, he feels bad, he feels ashamed for what he did to you. So it's easier when people are talking negatively about you to him rather than positively. So if he's gone back to live with his mum, she will welcome him with open arms in the beginning. She will show him that she'll never abandon him, that she'll always stand by him, that she's always there for him. She will make a real big fuss out of him, okay? She'll make his breakfasts and his lunches and his dinners. Whatever it takes to make up for the childhood trauma she put him through, she's going to do. And she also knows how fragile he is. She also knows that he's had addictions in the past, that he might have overdosed on something in the past, that he might have had a suicidal episode in the past. So she's very careful with this particular son, who has now hit rock bottom because he's lost everything. He's lost you. He's not able to find a back burner supply. He's unable to find an emergency pit stop supply. And he's unable or struggling to find new supply. So this is when he hits rock bottom. So he becomes very difficult to deal with when he's around his mum. He becomes very depressed, moody. He's not helpful in the house. He's lazy. He treats her badly and with disrespect. So what will happen over time is that she will start to resent you for not taking him back, because now he's a problem in her hands. And she's hoping that you will come back to take away her problem. So when you don't, she resents herself, you, and him for the situation you're all finding yourselves in. Okay? Even though she knows deep down it's not your problem, she knows her son is the problem, but she doesn't know how to get rid of him now. She's sick of him. She's sick of dealing with him. So she ends up escaping from the house. She spends more periods of time away, socializing with her friends and his other siblings and her work colleagues and her neighbours, just to have a break from him, because he's turned into a 5-year-old again. And not only that, he's becoming very rude and very gruff with her. Okay, he's giving her a lot of responsibilities, a lot of attitude, and she goes back to being that mother who she was when he was a child. So friction builds up again, and now she's hoping that anyone will take him off her hands. Even if it's a narcissistic woman, she doesn't care. Just get this guy out of my house. And that's what usually happens. He meets a narcissistic new supply, they go off, and she's relieved. And if the woman happens to be a codependent woman, it doesn't last. If she's narcissistic, it doesn't last. But the mother is just happy to have him taken away by another woman. So she's opposite to the other type of mother-in-law who is obsessed with her golden child. So this man-child will monkey branch from tree to tree until he learns his lesson. And don't hold your breath on that one, okay? It can take a long time. There are some narcissists who go through an extra 20, 30 and 40 years before they learn the lesson. Okay, some learn earlier than others. Some people, like I said, have the IQ of a turtle, so they won't get far with that. It will take them a lot longer until they realise the error of their ways. But better late than never, I say. And believe me when I tell you, the day they realise the error of their ways is the day they experience a crash. Because they realise what they had to sacrifice and give up to make Satanic people happy. Okay, they will come to that realisation one day, and it will hit them like a ton of bricks. Everything that they had to give up in their life that was good for them, they did it for people who never cared about them. People who never wanted to see them elevate. People who didn't want to see them have a better life than them. So the man-children do come to that realisation later, but it's always too late. They can't get the empath back after that because the bridges have been burned, and they feel too ashamed to come back after the smear campaigns they ran on the empath and the lies they told about her and the backburner who stole him away or the new supply he ran off with. Too much has happened for the empath to ever consider someone like this back into their life, and they know this. So they fear what she would say, they fear the reaction, they fear a horrible rejection that would break them even more, so they stay away. Okay, they don't come back to hoover a high-level empath who found out or knew about the backburner. And like I said, if it's not another woman, then it will be the family, the sisters, the brothers. And they know that the empath will never want to come back to a family like that. So they are forced to stay away. Allah forces them to stay away by allowing them to go that far with their smear campaign and do all the nasty things that they did to the empath. It's because Allah wants the empath to completely shut down on their feelings for them, so they never take them back. Okay, there's no chance, there's no hope for this man-child to ever come back into the life of the empath, and that's why the ending can sometimes be very painful. And it's painful so that you, as the empath, lose your feelings for the man-child. Because if you didn't, you'd take them back and you'd enter another cycle. So Allah makes it a painful ending so that you never take them back. And remember, it's also a painful ending for the narcissist who realizes what kind of family he's got, what kind of friends he has. Remember when I told you that when he finds out the backburner betrays him and, kicks him out of her life and treats him badly, that he goes into a very deep depression and it destroys him? The same happens with the backburners who are his family members and friends. So if there's no woman involved and he's relying on these people to be the backburners, they will betray him, they will lie to him, they will deceive him and scam him out of a safe space as well, out of his paradise. And when he finds out that they did that to him, his own family, his own parents, his own twin sister, he will go into a very dark place. Because when he realizes that none of them care about him and they were all just jealous and envious of him, and that he really did have something so great, and then he realizes they just wanted to take it from him because they didn't want him to be happy, or they didn't believe that he deserved to be happy. Can you imagine the dark place a narcissist will find himself after that realization? Yeah, it's the worst. I'm telling you, it needs a whole other podcast about what happens when they completely self-destruct and destabilize. Because they face a new dilemma after that, which is they don't trust anyone. There is no one in the whole world they trust apart from the empath they betrayed. And she becomes the only person left in the whole world who never betrayed his trust. Okay, she's the only one he can trust and he can't go back. And it kills him. He's dying to go back. Absolutely dying to go back and fix the situation, but it's too late. He can't. But at that point in time, he wants nothing more than to turn back time and do things differently. So he has no other option but to move on. Okay, he just has to move on with his life, go to the next supply, and repeat the same cycle again and again until he learns. But I promise you, the day he realizes what he lost, he would pay blood to have it back. But he can't, because he broke the heart of the empath so badly, and he burnt the bridges so badly that there's no way back. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would not want you to take him back, even if he repented. Okay, even if he repented, because he's got his own journey to take after that. You always deserve so much better than someone who had to come back after losing you because they thought they could find better. Right? You don't want to take someone like that back. You might feel sorry for them, and especially when you see them in that state, you might want to take them back and look after them. If you do, you're codependent. You're not empath. Okay, an empath has self-worth. They would never take back someone who chose a demon over them. I'm telling you. If you got betrayed and a demon was chosen over you and you still want them back, you are a heavy codependent. and you wouldn't have learnt the lesson that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent you. Okay, He sent you to teach you that you can't fix these people. So if you still feel sorry for them after, and you still want to fix them, you haven't learnt. You'll either go back into another cycle with this person, which is always toxic, okay, because he didn't take the time out to work on himself. He's done no inner work. He just ran to another woman. It didn't work out. He had a breakdown, and now he wants to come back to you. No inner work was done. And because of that, he's going to come back and be the same person, if not worse. Or you're going to attract another man-child into your life who will be slightly worse until you learn the lesson. Because you need to stop adopting boys. You want a husband, you don't want a child to adopt. But every time you attract a man-child into your life, you are essentially adopting a child. And then you find yourself on a project of fixing him, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not asked you to fix him. He sent him into your life to be inspired by you. And that would motivate him to be the man you need him to be the qawwam you need him to be. If he finds mawadda with you, that motivates him to do better. That's the whole purpose behind Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowing this man to enter your life. So you help each other. But the one who always ends up ruining the relationship will be the man-child and not the empath. And if an empath has a hand in contributing towards the downfall of her marriage, it will be because she has not put the right boundaries up to maintain respect. Another question I received was, I started hating my husband all of a sudden, ever since his family got involved in our problems. Could this be black magic? So if a man or a woman does a 180 in their attitude and behavior overnight, then yes, it is highly likely that black magic could have been used to cause a separation between husband and wife. And all sorts of backburners use this. So black magic can be used by a woman who wants to be with your man-child. It could be done by his mum, his sister, his aunties, his friends. Basically, whoever wants an easy way to destroy this marriage can use black magic. But this is a major sin that someone may never get forgiven for, because it's a major form of shirk. To go to a magician and request spell work that specifically ruins a good Muslim home. Okay, because remember when I told you that Iblis rewards his soldiers who manage to do this. And sometimes the evil eye can be so bad and so concentrated, the energy is so dark that comes from these people, that it causes a marriage to break down very quickly. Okay, from the hasad. And when the man-child goes around telling everyone how great you are and how great his relationship is with you, he is collecting strong doses of evil eye from many people. And this will definitely affect your marriage, and it can cause the breakdown of it. And no one gives you stronger evil eye than the backburner who really wants your husband for herself, or his mother who is obsessed with him. These are the two women who will give you the worst of it. And you have to read your adhkar night and day to protect yourself from it, because they hate who you are. They are so envious of who you are, and they are envious of what you have with this man-child. And unfortunately, lots of women get really sick from this type of evil eye that's very concentrated from these two women in particular. Now, when it comes to black magic, this is more serious because it involves a magician sending an evil jinn to your marriage to destroy it. And when someone goes to do black magic for the destruction of a marriage, two types of jinn are sent. Either the ashiq jinn is sent, and this type of jinn causes one of them to not like the other. So it stops all sexual intimacy, it stops affection, and it also stops a man from seeing his wife as attractive. So he might see her as hideous. Okay, this is what the ashiq jinn will do when he or she is sent to ruin a marriage. Now, the more sinister type of magic that's sent to a husband and wife is far more serious, and it has far greater symptoms, such as, I don't want to go too much into it because it can scare people, but people doing very odd things, very strange things, acting like they are animals. They might eat things that shouldn't be eaten, like wood. They scream in the middle of the night. They do things like that. And this jinn who is sent is called Dasim. Okay, and he is the one who is responsible for ruining marriages instantly because of all of these problems that occur that make someone appear seriously insane. And Dasim is one of the sons of Iblis who has been assigned with this particular mission. So he trains a group of soldiers from the jinn to work with magicians and cause problems between married couples. And he will take on the more high-profile cases. And those high-profile cases are of the high-level empaths, okay? Because you'll get so many haters who want to see the downfall of high-level empaths, so they'll do loads of black magic on them. The people who are afflicted the most with black magic are empaths, okay? Because satanic people want to take them down. So unfortunately, you'll find that the most people who have ashiq jinn possession, very bad evil eye, or other jinn issues from black magic are empaths. And it's not because their adhkar are not working, it's because they are the most attacked by satanic people who try to bring them down with magic. Okay, so sometimes it will affect them even if they read their adhkar because they're not doing something else properly. So Dasim takes on the high-profile cases because it's a huge challenge for him. He gets the harder challenges, and the soldiers whom he trains get the easier ones. Okay, so only the most evil of people will go to a magician and request Dasim or request one of his soldiers, because they request that the symptoms that appear in the people who are afflicted cause an instant divorce because the people appear insane. So it is extremely important for empaths to perfect and remember their daily adhkar to protect them from all of this evil. Okay, because even the Prophet ﷺ himself was afflicted by black magic, not because he was a bad person and not because he wasn't protected. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to tell us that even the best of people will be afflicted by black magic, because there will be people out there who will do it. So if we miss one day of our adhkar, we could pay the price. Okay, so the whole point of Allah telling us that and telling us that Jibreel alayhi salam came down with the verses of Ruqya, and Allah teaches us in the Quran which verses to read to cleanse ourselves from evil spirits and evil eye, is for our own protection. Okay, Allah teaches us these verses for our own protection, but most people forget them. And if you forget them, you're going to be a very easy target for those who wish to inflict spiritual harm upon you. Okay, it's very important for you to remember this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Baqarah, Ayah 102, وَاتَّبَعُوا مَا تَتْلُو الشَّيَاطِينُ عَلَى مُلْكِ سُلَيْمَانَ وَمَا كَفَرَ سُلَيْمَانُ ولكن الشياطين كفروا يعلمون الناس السحر وما أنزل على الملكين ببابل هاروت وماروت وما يعلمان من أحد حتى يقولا إنما نحن فتنة فلا تكفر فيتعلمون منهما ما يفرقون به بين المرء وزوجه وما هم بضارين به من أحد إلا بإذن الله ويتعلمون ما يضرهم ولا ينفعهم ولقد علموا لمن اشتراه ما له في الآخرة من خلاق ولبئس ما شروا به أنفسهم لو كانوا يعلمون. The disbelievers followed the magic rituals promoted by the devils during the reign of Sulaiman alayhi salam. Never did Sulaiman disbelieve, rather it was the devils who disbelieved. They taught black magic to the people along with what had been revealed to the two angels Harut and Marut in Babylon. The two angels never taught anyone without saying, "We are only a test for you, so do not abandon your faith." Yet people learned black magic that caused the rift between husband and wife. Although their magic could not harm anyone except by the will of Allah, they learned what harmed them and did not benefit them, although they already knew whoever buys into black magic would not have any share in the hereafter. Miserable indeed was the price for which they sold their souls if they only knew. So this verse in the Quran addresses black magic, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that the majority of rituals done for black magic was to separate husband and wife. So yes, backburners will use this if they have access to magicians. Another question that was asked was, can the backburner ever be an empath? Because my ex used to say that the backburner is a good woman and he can have a better life with her. And when he went to her, he gave her everything that I wanted that he refused to give to me. So first of all, the backburner, like I said before, can never be an empath. Okay, if she knows about you, if she was talking to him or having an affair with him, knowing he was with you, there is no way she could ever be an empath. He wants you to believe she's a good woman because he wants you to compete with her. If he tells you she's a satanic woman, you're not going to compete with her. You will know, and he will know that you know he's downgraded and he's gone to something not good for him. So he has to sell you the story that he believes she's better for his deen, she's better for his life, she's better for his health, and so on. So it's only to make you compete. He will know soon enough that she's scamming him, and he already knows she's not a good woman because she was with him while he was with you. He already doesn't trust her. That's why I'm saying it's pure delusion that they get with them thinking the grass will be greener, when actually the woman you are dealing with is a woman who was happy to deceive another woman to have you. What kind of person is that? What kind of character does this person have? He already knows there's something not good about her. But the delusion of his qareen causes him to follow her blindly because Allah is rescuing you from the situation. He's allowing him to be deaf, dumb, and blind for your own benefit. Okay? So when he does things for her that he never did for you, it's called triangulation. It's a manipulation tactic where he wants you to know he's doing these things for her so that you can beg, scream, cry, cause a drama, get involved in their drama. That's more fuel and supply for him. Right? Having women compete for him. They love that. When you take yourself out of the equation, they have to butt heads together. And when they butt heads together, it can get painful. They don't like it. But they are putting on a drama show to get a reaction out of you. So he will do all the things that will annoy you, like giving her the things that he never gave you because he lives for your reaction. Don't give it. Okay, don't give it. Remove yourself from the situation, block and delete, go no contact, and leave them to it. Let them butt heads together like balls in a china shop. It's not your problem. He has now become her problem, and she is now his problem. You're out of it. Allah rescued you. Okay? So he's going to do things to irritate you and cause you pain and punish you for walking away from him. He might get her the ring you wanted. He might get her the jewelry sets you wanted. He might take her on the holiday you wanted. Let him do it without kicking up a fuss, without saying a word. Allah rescued you, and that's all you need to be grateful for. The rest, it's all fake. It's all a show. He's not doing it out of love. He is doing it because you're on his mind. Okay? Everything he's giving to the back burner, he's doing it with you in mind, which means he's not over you. Okay? So let her deal with the man who's still hung up on his ex. Okay? Always remember, not your circus, not your monkey. Okay? Rather her than you. You don't want to be dealing with that. You're better off leaving her to deal with all that drama and all that toxicity. So let them both clean up their own mess together. It's not your problem to deal with. Another question I received was, why does my ex hide the back burner? Why does he not want me to know that he is with her? I found out via a friend that he is with her, but he denies it. Habibti, the simple answer is because this is the woman he told you to never worry about. She is the woman you never liked, the one you never trusted, the one you always warned him about, and the one you always had fights over, because he was the one gaslighting you, telling you that all these suspicions and paranoias are in your head, that you are seeing things, that you don't trust him, that you always think the worst of people, and that she's just a friend or just a work colleague, or she's just like my sister. I'd never marry this woman. I'm not attracted to her at all. I think she's ugly. The reason why I never got with her is because I don't find her attractive, or she's seeing someone, or she's married, and for that reason me and her could never be together. That woman is the one he got with. So he's going to hide her, because how on earth is he going to explain that one to you? How is he going to explain that the woman he told you was toxic, and that's the reason why he never got with her, is now the woman he's run to? How is he going to explain to you that he doesn't like fake-looking women, but she is fake from head to toe, and he ran to her? Everything he says to you about the back burner while you're together is just to throw you off track. He doesn't want you to believe he's attracted to her. He doesn't want you to believe she is his type. He doesn't want you to think anything is going on, so it's not what you focus on in the relationship. But your gut is telling you there's something not right about this woman. I do not feel good about this woman, and he's sweating. Every time you bring it up, he's sweating because he needs to say whatever he needs to say to get out of that situation and wriggle out of it like a little worm, because he hates being interrogated about it, because he has to constantly lie and he's feeling guilty. So when he runs to that woman, immediately after you walk away from him, he's not going to want you to know about it. He will not post her on his social media. He won't post her anywhere. He won't let you know. He doesn't want you to know. He tells everyone to not tell you that he's with this woman, because everything you suspected will fall into place. Okay? And it will be embarrassing for him, for you to know that he's with her after all the lying and the gaslighting he put you through. So he's ashamed and he's embarrassed, because he will know that he downgraded after everything he told you about her that was negative. So the man-child will rarely post the backburner supply on his social media, but he will post the new supply. So if he feels like he's upgraded to a new supply, not knowing that she's toxic yet, he will post her, but not the back burner, because he already knows she's toxic and he's not sure if things will work out with her. Okay, so he won't post her on his social media to not upset the other back burners who are watching. Okay, when a man refuses to post anything about you on social media, even if it's just a picture of your hands, it's because he doesn't want to upset a back burner on there. And that back burner is lurking in his following list, and she's watching everything he does. So the back burner who is pressurizing him to leave you for her, yeah, she's making sure he doesn't post a damn thing about you and him, because she wants him all to herself. So whenever you ask him to post something or make an announcement that you're engaged or make an announcement that you're married, he doesn't want to. And he uses the excuse that he's a private man. He doesn't like to air his private life on social media. It's a load of rubbish. Because if you look at his previous posts, he does. But there's a back burner pressurizing him to not do it. And it doesn't make any sense. It's like, we just got married. Why wouldn't you post something about it? He doesn't want to, because he's got lurkers and stalkers on there who are watching very carefully. So he will lie about who those women are when you ask about them. And that's why he hides the back burner supply from you later, because he doesn't know how to explain it to you. He will know that you know he lied all that time. Okay, and he has to stick with his victim story. So he doesn't want to look like the victim. So he makes sure that you don't know about it. However, the back burner who's now, quote unquote, won him is the one to plaster and expose him on her social media, because she wants you to see that she's won. So she will post pictures of them together, much to the annoyance of the man-child who wanted to keep it private. And he will resent her later on for this when he finds out that you found out from her profile that they're together. He will hate her for it, but not yet. He will hate her properly for it when she scams him, betrays him, cheats on him with another man, and kicks him out. Okay? That's when he'll hate her for ruining his life and ruining all his chances to come back to you, because now he knows that after you seeing the posts on her social media, there is no way in hell you would ever take him back after he ran to a woman you guys fought over, okay? A woman you didn't like, a woman you were always suspicious of. You'll never take him back after that, and he knows it. But this is a part of her plan. She wants you to know that he's with her. She doesn't know about all the horrible things he said about her, but she wants you to know this so that you never take him back. Because she knows how much pain you're going to be in when you see those pictures and videos of them together. She knows, because you've only just broken up and he's ran to her and he is looking like he's having a great time with her. So she wants to ensure maximum pain is inflicted on you so that you never take him back. Even if she kicks him out, you'll never take him back if he was to hoover you. Okay? However, she's doing you a massive favor by taking him away. She's taking out your trash. Don't be upset. Don't ever grieve this. Okay? Grieve what you need to grieve, but don't let it drag on for longer than necessary. Allah sent her to take out your trash. And before you know it, he will be her trash to deal with. So she thinks she's won a prize, but she only thinks he's now a prize because of the man he was when he was with you. Now that you're removing yourself, she will deal with the man-child he always was, and she'll get sick of it. I promise you, she'll get sick of him. And that's why you have to leave them to it. Because she's doing all of this to hurt you, because she's intimidated by you. She is jealous and envious of you. She is threatened by you. So she wants to make sure he never runs to you again. And if he does run to you, that you'll never take him back. She's very insecure. She is worried that he will one day realize that he made the biggest mistake of his life by leaving you. She knows you are better than her. She knows she can't compete with you. So the least she can do is to ensure that you guys never get back together again. And that's a part of her satanic mission from her qareen, as well as her own insecurities. Another question is, I changed a lot after my husband started cheating on me. I felt like I had become a different person and I became very narcissistic. Is this normal? So the answer to this is, if he's cheating on you with toxic narcissistic women, unfortunately, he's going to be carrying the bad spirits from these evil women. So when you're intimate with him, they will pass on to you. It's like an STD, but a spiritual one. And they can only affect you when you haven't read your adhkar, and when he hasn't read the dua that he's meant to read before intimacy to protect you from the ashiq jinn. Okay? So if you go back and listen to my previous podcasts about the ashiq jinn, you will know what I'm talking about. But a husband should always remember to read a dua before intercourse. And if he forgets, the wife should read it. It's Bismillahi Allahumma jannibna shaitan wa jannib shaitan ma razaqtana. So in the name of Allah, protect us from the shaitan and protect what you give us of offspring from the shaitan. And the shaitan here will be the ashiq jinn, who is assigned with the mission of creating sexual issues between husband and wife. And you'll notice with black magic that it's rarely done to narcissistic couples because they're already in torment. Okay, they're already possessed by demons. They are already plagued with this curse that they have of being controlled by their qareen. So black magic isn't sent to them because they are already afflicted with jinn issues. So that's why it's the empathic people who suffer from these issues, because they don't have jinn problems. So it makes more sense for magicians and evil people to attack those who don't have the same spiritual problems that narcissists have. Okay? So that's the reason why you find a lot of good people suffer from a very bad evil eye and black magic. And most of the time it comes as a result of them being very lazy with their adhkar. Okay, they get very comfortable that black magic isn't coming to them and all of that. You know, we pray 5 times a day, it's enough. They don't make the extra effort to read their adhkar until they get afflicted. They have to learn that lesson and feel black magic or very bad doses of evil eye to teach you a lesson to not neglect your adhkar. Okay, Allah allows it to affect you negatively because black magic and evil eye only affects you with the permission of Allah. So if He allows it to affect you, then there's a lesson in there for you. Okay, there's a door you haven't closed to that type of evil. But of course, you can make this a temporary lesson by taking the advice of the Prophet ﷺ and do the required ruqyah needed to get rid of the black magic. Okay, so we're given a solution for the magic, but if you're afflicted by it, you have to ask yourself, why am I going through it? What did I do wrong for me to receive this? There's always a door that you've left open that you should have closed, which is why you received it in the first place. So it's not a punishment from Allah, okay? And we have the ability to remedy it with the correct ruqyah. Another question I received was, is it possible a man-child is only changing himself to be more practicing to compete with the empath because he thinks she's faking it and he can fake it too? So the answer here is yes. And the people who do this are those who are not sincere about changing. So they just see it as a challenge to see if they can be better than you. So narcissistic people, like I said, they're very jealous and envious of empaths, especially those who have faith and are practicing Muslims. So they set themselves a challenge to supersede you in what makes you special. Okay, because they think you're faking it, and if you can fake it, they can fake it as well. And if you're genuine with it, that's when they face a dilemma, because they can't continue with that fakeness. Okay? They can't continue deceiving people that they're religious when it's not in their hearts. So they realize later that this religion is actually in the heart of the empath, and they can do it for a lot longer than they can. And that's when the competition turns into bitterness, because now they're looking at you thinking, how do they do it? How do they have this iman in their hearts? And they'll either be inspired by you, or their bitterness will take over them and they will turn malignant with you. And they will do everything to take it from you and destroy your iman, destroy your deen, and lead you on the wrong path. And they do that by completely crippling your self-esteem and self-worth. That's when a man-child turns malignant. And everything he admired about you in the beginning now becomes everything he hates and wants to destroy, because he can't compete with you. Okay, when they can't compete with you, they want to take it from you. You can apply this to your career. You can apply this to your beauty. You can apply this to, your social circle and how you interact with people, your confidence. What they liked in you from the beginning will be the thing that they want to destroy later when they realize they can't compete. Okay, that's when the man-child turns nasty with you. Another thing this sister said is, I feel like he was using religion to get away from his duties as a husband, because he was making no effort to be a qawwam. He used to say things like, look at me, I'm trying to go to the mosque and pray 5 times a day, to make you happy. And therefore, I can't work a normal 9-to-5 job because I want to pray my prayers in the mosque. It's an obligation upon me, and employers don't like that. So a lot of men here will resort to being unemployed so that you become the breadwinner, or he will have issues finding a job and he will hop from job to job using this as an excuse. He doesn't want to work. They're lazy. Okay, so he will make his religious commitment a nightmare for you, because now he will use his improvement in his deen and his progress to make life difficult for you. And again, this is a satanic mission for you to be confused, to be angry, to resent the fact that he's become more religious, because it's actually made your life harder. And he will use these Islamic excuses whenever he can to get away with fulfilling his roles, duties and responsibilities. And he may start to apply harsh ruling on you. Now that I'm becoming religious, you're not allowed to go out anymore. And you're not allowed to do this and this. And you have to obey me and that. And he becomes very unreasonable, because now he's found a new power he can use over you. And this is when you start to regret pushing him down that path, because he's taken advantage of his progress in religion to use against you. And that's when he flexes his authority, right? It's the only time when he can feel like a man. So he will not be a man in any area of life apart from here. Okay, he will use his Islamic authorities to, pretend that he's an alpha masculine man who's the leader and the qawwam and everything, but he's not a provider. He doesn't have a job, and he's not really doing anything for you, but he's going around the house, stomping his feet, demanding obedience, demanding respect. And you can't respect someone like that. It's difficult to respect someone who has this type of character, and they don't understand that respect has to be earned. It's not just given, right? The qawwam is someone who is given respect easily and out of free will, because he's earned it. He's done the work to earn it. But these man-children, they go around stomping their feet and, I'm the emir of the house and I'm this and I'm that. You've got to do everything I say, and they're petty over everything, and it just becomes an absolute nightmare when some of these men find religion, because they use it in a manipulative way to gain masculine power they don't have in any other area of life. And where do they learn this from? The red pill dawah bros. The dawah bros who encourage broke men to get married and then demand all of their rights, demand obedience, demand this and demand that. But he's broke. he doesn't have a job, he's a low earner. So be careful, okay? Because they will manipulate Islam to control you and brainwash you and make you feel guilty for not accepting them the way they are, when the way they are is actually not befitting for them to be a husband, because they don't have the character to be a qawwam. Okay? So the Dawah brothers and men online, all these red pill people, can also be their backburners. They run to them when things go wrong if they have no one else to turn to. So they will go online for advice and to learn how to deal with the empath woman, okay, or the wife they have, the husband they have. So they'll get their advice and teachings from toxic people online who are teaching Islam in the wrong way, and it's having a very negative effect on your marriage. Okay, that's how you know these are also toxic backburners. They fill his head with so much rubbish about what he should be doing, and it's the wrong advice. Okay, it's anti-Islamic advice. And then everything goes wrong because he's put these people up on a pedestal, he's prioritized what they say, and he's applied it to your life. And women are notorious for doing this as well. They take the advice of strangers they don't know online and apply it to their marriage, and then the whole marriage falls apart because they've idolized an influencer who gives dating advice or marriage advice and all of that, okay? So these influencers can be very toxic backburners who will ruin your marriage with the advice they give to these people who run to them and hold them in high esteem. And these people are always narcissistic, right? All of these influencers, because they have a satanic mission to break up homes as well. Look at how many influencers have really affected people's marriages by setting unrealistic standards in love, in luxury, in wealth, in goals, and all of those things. They set standards that the majority of people can't meet, and it's only because of the dodgy ways they make money. So if you take your advice from people like that, you are falling into the trap of Iblis, who wants to break up marriages and stop the progress of people who are making the effort to improve their lives, their deen, and their character. So another question I received was this: after my man-child reverse discarded me, he was very upset when I walked away. Why does he cry and beg when he is the one who reverse discarded me? So they know what they're doing. Okay, they reverse discard you because they don't want to be the ones to end the relationship, because they want to appear the victim to everyone in their smear campaign. They want to tell everyone how cruel you were, that you left them, that you did everything you could to save the marriage, but you walked away, you didn't have patience, you didn't love them enough. So they'll start saying these things to you, like, oh, you never loved me, and you must have been planning this from the beginning, and you're thinking, hold on a minute, excuse me, what the hell are you talking about? Everything that they say to you in that moment of time, that they accuse you of, is unfortunately how they really feel about you. They were the ones planning it from the beginning. They were the ones who didn't love you. They were the ones who had to wait until you ended it because they have to look like the nice guy. They don't want to look like the bad guy. Okay? So it's very difficult for them to reverse discard you because they know they're doing something disgusting, especially when they are waiting to run off to a back burner. They know how vile they are inside to do something like this to you. And especially if they have children, by the way, because they don't want to explain to their children why it's suddenly ending with this empath whom they absolutely adore. How is he going to explain that to them? So it's easier for him to tell them that you're the one who left, rather than him being the one who ended it, so they don't hate him for it. And because he has no idea what to say to them anyway, how on earth would he explain that to them? Why would he leave such an amazing situation? They wouldn't understand it. So it's easier if he tells them you're the one who walked away. So in this situation, you could say to them, well, You don't have to be begging and crying. All you need to do is X, Y, Z. These are the things you need to fix in yourself and in the marriage for it to work. And you don't need to be begging and crying. And then he won't respond to you. He doesn't like you responding with that. He will run because he doesn't want to make it work. Someone out there has shown him a better life. Okay, someone's shown him a better option. He doesn't want to stay here anymore. He wants to go to the shiny new life that he's been presented with. That's a scam. It's a mirage. Like I said to you, it's not real. So sometimes, because of the guilt they feel, they might send you a message or a letter or an email, and they will tell you how sorry they are. They will tell you how much they love you. Maybe in another lifetime we'll be together. You deserve so much better. I'm not to your standard. May you be happy with another man who's better for you. You're the nicest woman I ever met in my life. And all that kind of stuff. Which makes it even worse. Because it's like, well, why would you leave someone like this? Why would you not work harder to meet my standard if I'm all of these great things? But the reason why they do that, it's very manipulative. It's so that they stay in your mind for a very long time and you struggle to get over them. So that when they hoover you, you will welcome them with open arms because in your mind he's already programmed you to believe that he is your soulmate and he'll be back. Right? If he's back, it means he's realized the error of his ways after it didn't work out on Love Island. Yeah, the one he went to. So that's why I tell you, don't accept a hoover. Don't accept him back after he's gone to a back burner for this exact reason. It's all manipulation. Because if that's how he truly felt, if he really truly loved you, he would make the effort to meet that standard. He wouldn't tell you you deserve to be with someone better than me. Why don't you become better? Why don't you become that man, make the effort and be with this amazing empathic woman? Why give her away to another man? But he's been brainwashed by the back burner. Whoever she is, the mother, the father, the sister, an ex, whoever. Now, if a back burner is a baby mama, yeah, you're going to have a big problem here as well. So if he's got children with a woman and she still wants him back, or he's now become appealing since he's been with you, women who have children with a man-child usually want them back because the man-child is very easily controlled by a narcissistic woman, okay? So if there is an ex in his life and he has children with her, 99% of the time she is the main back burner, especially if she's single. Okay, she will want him back when she sees the improved version of him because she kicked him out as a result of him being a bum and having no money. So when she sees the improved version of him with you, she's like, well, I've got a family with this man. I've got children with him. I need him back. So she'll work on him. So be very careful with baby mamas. And what will happen if he knows that you know he's gone off with the back burner or a new supply? He will make it look like he's happy even if he's not. Okay, because he can't let you know he made a wrong decision. It's now embarrassing for him to let you know that he made the worst decision of his life. So if you see them be happy, if he does happen to post her online and they look super happy together, he has to give you that impression. He's got to give everyone that impression that he didn't make the stupidest decision a monkey could ever make. Okay, he can't. He's got to hold up a facade that everything's fine, everything's going well, but he's crippled inside. He's burning inside because he realised that Love Island turned out to be a dump. And he's found himself there with all her other backburners. Okay, all the other backburners who got destroyed, he'll find them in that same rubbish dump. So don't be fooled if you see them move on and be happy. These guys are never happy because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows the scammer to take him away. Sooner or later he'll know he's been scammed. The happiness won't last long. So don't say things like, oh, I'm so depressed because he looks so happy. He's not happy. Stop being depressed. Stop letting a demon control your emotions. Just move on with your life. Get on with your own life. You will see things unravel in due time. Okay? And you can move on and be happier and meet someone else, inshallah, who's much better for you. But unfortunately, they won't. So it's best to not focus so much and be obsessed with what they're doing so that you can move on with your life. Okay, especially if it's hindering your progress in life, if it's giving you a lot of procrastination, you're not getting out of bed in the morning, you're always depressed, you've got anxiety, you're on pills. Yeah, they're not worth any of that. Okay, just get up, move on with your life, get the therapy you need for it, and inshallah everything will be absolutely fine. Okay, sometimes you just need therapy and to talk to someone about it. Someone else asked that you said the man-child does not block you because he's always waiting for you to come back. But my man-child has blocked me. Why has he done that? I don't have a crystal ball, guys. I don't know why he did it. Okay, I don't know why he would have blocked you. However, I will tell you this. If he has blocked you and he's moved on with a new supply or a back burner, she would have made him block you. Okay, if you find yourself blocked everywhere, that will be her, not him. Because man-children always need backup supplies, right? They are storing you in the back burner garage for a rainy day. So she might have found out about you, the new supply. She would have asked to maybe see your picture, to know about who you are. She gets jealous. She asks him to block you everywhere because she's terrified he's going to contact you or that you're going to contact him. And the back burner's already jealous of you, so she makes him block you everywhere so that you do not contact him and, take him away from her. She's now paranoid about that because she knows what he's like. She doesn't trust him. So she makes him block you everywhere. So if you suddenly find yourself blocked, that's the reason, most of the time. And other times, he will block you himself if you've absolutely butchered his ego. Okay, if he knows there is absolutely no way back and you have wiped the floor with his ego after a Hoover attempt, that's when he'll block you. Okay, because you've hurt him too much. He knows it's impossible to ever come back to you. So that's when you'll be blocked. So you're out of his mind and he's no longer thinking about you. Out of sight, out of mind. The next question is, my man-child left me after 4 years of me being in a relationship with him because his mum found him someone better. Is this normal? Yes, it's normal. Okay, you're in a relationship with him for 4 years. You're not married. He's done nothing to make it official with you. His mum comes along and presents him with a woman who she thinks is better than you. She's probably narcissistic. She's got the beauty. She's got the status. He's going to drop you for her, unfortunately, because these guys don't know how to love properly. They're looking for supply. They're looking for trophies. So if she's more of a trophy than you are, yes, unfortunately, he will drop you for her and dismiss all that time you spent with him and all the effort you put into him. They are selfish buggers, these guys, I'm telling you. This is why in Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us to stay away from haram relationships, because you just never know who is wasting your time. Right? Now this woman is heartbroken and she's grieving, and of course she is. 4 years of her life has gone to waste on this guy who was never sincere to begin with. So if a man runs away from the responsibility of speaking to your male family members from the beginning, or at least early on, run a mile. He's going to waste your time. Okay, if he's telling you it's too early, it's too soon, he's still testing the waters. He's still speaking to multiple people until he figures out what he wants. These guys never know what they want. They never know what they want. They're the most confused boys on the face of this planet. Stop getting yourself into haram relationships with these people. Allah forbade it for a reason. It's to protect women and it's to protect men. The good ones, of course, not the bad ones. The bad ones don't care about anything. Okay, so be wary about that. So the next question is, since my divorce from the man-child, I have been suffering from very bad memory loss and brain fog. Is this experience common for those who go through a divorce? The answer is yes. And there's actually a spiritual reason for this. Okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes away a lot of your memories with this man-child. So after a year or two from a divorce, you'll start to realize that you don't remember a lot about him. It's very hazy, it's very grey. And you struggle to remember details, this is from the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He will wipe very bad memories so that you can move on. Because these good memories and bad memories are what the Qareen uses to keep you in a state of PTSD. Okay, and when you're in a state of PTSD, you can never really move on from the man-child. So if you find yourself experiencing memory loss and you think about all the things that you actually can't remember, you'll realize that these are the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't want you to think about anymore. So if they're not removed, the Qareen will use them and play on them via waswas so that you just don't move on, right? You're always going to be in a state of depression, anxiety. You're always going to be grieving, crying, and you won't be able to get over the man-child. So memory loss when it comes to remembering things that happened is a blessing. Now, if you are experiencing memory loss in daily things, then you can just, there are exercises you can do where you just sit with yourself and ground yourself, do a bit of self-reflection, deep thinking, deep breathing, and just slow down. All right, you might be in a rush all the time. Just slow down, schedule things, write things. You've got to-do lists, you've got Google Calendar so that you don't forget tasks and things that you need to be doing. Okay? And there are therapists who can help you with this, who specialize in memory loss. So if you're really struggling with daily tasks and remembering them, then I suggest that you book an appointment with one of them, and inshallah they can help you out. All right? Now, on the opposite side of the table, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives the narcissist an exceptional memory. Okay? They have a very sharp, incredible memory. And they remember everything from the day they were born. Okay, probably things from the womb as well. Narcissists are known to have very sharp memory. And that's why, I'll tell you something, many narcissists are hafidhin of the Quran. Okay, lots of narcissistic people have memorized the Quran by heart because it's a skill they have. Memory is very sharp and very good with them. So the reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave narcissistic people a very sharp memory is because He wants them to remember all the bad they've done in their life so they repent. And He wants them to remember all the good in their life so they have hope. And this is the reason why narcissistic people turn out to be the way they are, because they remember every detail from their childhood memories. Okay, their childhood trauma, their childhood wounds. Many empaths forget. And also many codependents forget many of the things that they went through. It's only later in therapy they think, oh my goodness, I didn't realize how much that would have affected me. I completely forgot about that experience. Narcissists remember every experience. And I've noticed this when I counsel them, that they remember every detail. And things that I would have long forgotten about if I was in their position. So this is why they're so bitter and so angry, because the memories are always fresh in their minds. They never forget a thing. And that's why they become narcissistic individuals, because of this incredible memory that they have. And empaths and codependents, they don't become narcissistic like them because they forget a lot of things their parents did. And that's why they don't have that hate towards their parents like narcissists do. Like a narcissist will be in his 50s and 60s and still hate his parents for something that happened when he was 4. He could have fallen over, cut his knee, and his mum didn't take care of him properly. He'll remember that. That's something you probably would have forgotten about. But because of the narcissist's sharp memory, he will always remember that incident. And he carries it with him. And that's why they become the people they are. Okay, very bitter, very hateful, resentful. They want to take revenge on everyone, and so on and so forth. Okay, so memory loss can be a blessing, and a sharp memory can be a curse. However, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts a blessing in that curse as well, because if they remember, they can get the help. And if they remember, they can repent from all the sins. And that's why everything they do to people haunts them. That's why they don't sleep properly at night. They all have sleep issues because the tape continuously plays of everything they've done. Okay, their conscience will continuously play all the sins, all the oppression, all the abuse, it comes back to them, and Allah allows that to happen until they wake up and they repent from all their wrongdoing. So Allah will allow them to remember it until their last day. And that's why they're so miserable. That's why they're haunted all the time. Because that's all they think about. They think about what horrid people they are. Deep inside, that's what they think about. And that's why they don't like to be alone. Because when they're alone, it's just them and their thoughts. Them and their qareen. So they have to always be around people. Okay, that's the reason why you get brain fog and they don't. So the last question is this. My husband is a red pill man who works in the dawah industry, and he is now obsessed with polygamy and wants multiple wives because he is obsessed with watching dawah brothers on YouTube. How can they have multiple wives if they are incapable of emotional relationships? Is he a man-child? So all of these men are man-children. Okay, men who are not qawwams, but they want multiple wives, are all man-children because they have no emotional capacity to deal with 4 women or more than 1 woman. They can't even deal with one. They can't even deal with themselves and their own emotional issues, let alone the emotional issues of 4 women. Okay, they become obsessed about polygamy because they don't see 4 wives as 4 individual human, living, breathing women who have needs and rights and all of that. They just see 4 sources of supply. And that's why every wife is different from the other. One is beautiful, one cooks very well, and she's very traditional. One is religious, one is the brains, she knows how to make money and she's supporting me with my business. It's very convenient for them. If they lose one of them, it's not a big deal. They've still got 3 sources of supply. And in their own time, they can replace the 4th wife. So it's convenient for them to always have sources of supply available to them. And that's why they're obsessed with polygamy. They don't look at it in the way it's meant to be looked at. They just look at it from a narcissistic perspective of, I have 4 sources of supply, so I will never find myself in a pickle if anyone was to leave. And I have so much to benefit from 4 different women who bring me 4 supplies. That's why they're obsessed with polygamy. That's why they want to be polygamous. It's for that reason. And that's why they're man-children. Okay, because the alpha man doesn't really want to do that, knowing the responsibility it carries. There were Sahaba and people from the Tabi'een who were scared about marrying a woman because of the rights they have over them. And they were thinking, well, I'm worried. Will I be able to fulfill the rights of a woman over me? And here you have man-children jumping around in their Nikes, getting excited at the thought of having 4 wives. They have no idea. And that's when you know that they're just very immature people who are looking at women as objects, and you really can't take these people seriously. Okay, so that's the answer to that. So, yeah, that was quite a heavy podcast today, but I wanted to wrap it up with the man-child so I can move on to other subjects. The subject with the man-child is always the most popular one because the majority of women do experience life with one. So that's why I've had to release multiple podcasts about it. But you'll be glad to know this is the final one today. And, at the end of the day, I do feel sorry for these guys because, they didn't have good father figures, right? Social media, the way the world is right now, feminism, dating cultures, all these marriage apps, all of that's killed manhood because supply is very easy to obtain now from people. It's very easy to use and abuse women and men online because people are easily accessible. So all of that has caused men to be lazy. They're not chivalrous, they're not gentlemen anymore. They have to fake being alpha because no one taught them how to be a qawwam. And that comes down to a very poor or non-existent Islamic upbringing. Okay, so either they didn't have that or they were raised to have an Islamic upbringing, but Muslims made them hate the religion. Okay, Muslims made them hate Islam, so they deviated from the right path and they didn't learn how to be a qawwam. Okay, because Islam teaches you how to be a real man. So if you're not going to be raised as a qawwam with the correct Islamic upbringing, then you're going to be a lost boy in this world. You won't know what your purpose is, and a man without purpose is a waste of a man. I can't say it enough. Okay? You don't know how to fight for principles and fight for your rights and fight for the rights of other people. You don't know how to stand up for what's important. You don't know what's important because your sense of identity is very much lost. And it gets lost in a culture and society that is ever changing. So men are happier in their purpose. Men are happier when they have strong values to live by, and they know how to heal their childhood traumas, and they have a strong connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when you find mawadda within yourself, because when you love yourself, you can love everyone and you can keep a family together. You won't be losing a family because of your immaturity and lack of emotional intelligence. And you will feel powerful in, your ability to lead, because you'll be wise and you will find joy in seeking knowledge. A man with knowledge is a powerful man. Okay, so it's a shame that so many men are not raised in the correct way, or they're raised by narcissists who do not give them the space or the ability to find joy in Islam and find love in a connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's forced on them. Allah becomes a God who is tyrannical to them, and they are spiritually and religiously manipulated until they are driven out of Islam. And that's why they're lost. Okay, they're all lost boys. Or they're lost boys who have an understanding of religion that doesn't make them happy, but it gives them the power they need to feel masculine. Okay, so, I record these podcasts to open people's eyes to our social dilemmas. I want to help, and I hope that these are inspirational for you to make a change in your lives. Because when I talk about man children and women children, wallahi, I talk with no hatred in my heart for any of you. And I know it's very difficult for you to face these harsh truths, but I have to explain them in a way and teach you in a way that hits home and quick. So even if you experience a bit of pain, inshallah, it's not the long-term pain. It's a quick sting that you'll feel for a bit, and then, inshallah, you'll understand the message I'm trying to send you and make some productive progress. Okay, because a feminine woman will always be happiest with a masculine man, and a masculine man is always the happiest with a feminine woman. Okay, so, we have to have compassion for everyone. There's no use judging everyone for the way they choose to live their lives, because it usually comes as a result of a very bad upbringing. Okay, and absent fathers, absent mothers who weren't there to give them a correct and healthy start in life. Believe me, I've seen man children at their worst. I've seen them self-destruct. And it's a sorry sight to see. Because the reason why I feel sorry for them is because when they run to their backburners who they trusted, they do get heavily betrayed and heartbroken because they didn't see it coming. Okay, so don't be surprised if you see them in a very dark place. It's always because the backburners let them down. It's guaranteed. Their friends will abandon them. The backburner who they ran to will abandon them, cheat on them, betray them. Their mother will get sick of them. Their father will abandon them again. They'll go through all of that and hit rock bottom. And they also hate what they've done to the empath. They hate themselves for the smear campaign they launched on her. They hate how they allowed the backburner to be so cruel to her and make her jealous and break her heart. Okay, sometimes the backburner will give her something to make her sick. They might put something in her drink, especially if they know each other, and the man-child might know about it. Okay, I know someone who was given some herb in her drink and her tea by the backburner to make her have a miscarriage, and she did. And the man-child knew about it, and he never got over that guilt. But he had to stay quiet because he couldn't let people know that the backburner did it. And she did it out of jealousy, because the reason why he was staying with the empath woman is because he said, she's pregnant, I can't leave her. So the backburner decided to do something about it. So there are cruel people like that, and it haunts them that they've seen these things being done to an empath. Even if someone did black magic and he found out about it, that it was done to the empath woman by a backburner, he will find out about it and he will hate those people for it. He will start to see the reality of the people he ran to, and he will hate them. He'll hate himself. He'll hate his decisions, and he'll never get over it. This is something he never ever gets over. It will haunt him for the rest of his life. It will haunt him that he abandoned something good, and it will haunt him that he left a woman on her own, especially if she had no family and she was nothing but good to him. So he abandoned her to go to his backburners, who turned out to be a complete letdown. They betrayed him. So don't belittle the self-hate a man-child will feel, or a woman-child, when they reach this stage of realization. It's not a position any of you would want to be in, because of the immense pain they feel at losing the best gift they ever had from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, they will look for that gift everywhere, and they will look for the empath in every woman they meet, but they won't meet her. They won't see her again, because I told you, Allah sends that lifeline once, and he will have to settle for the next best thing in this dunya. The man-child will also see you in his dreams a lot. He will be frequently visited by the qareen in his dreams to remind him of a failed mission, because you were the person the narcissistic man-child was meant to destroy. And because it was a failed mission, the qareen always reminds him that he was a failure, and the qareen will annoy him with constant mental visuals of you in dreams. So these could be good memories, bad memories, and also visions of the future of what could have been. Okay, so he's haunted in his dreams, he has nightmares about it, and he sees you in everything he does and everywhere he goes. So for example, he might pass your favourite coffee shop and remember you. He might smell your fragrance on someone, or hear your favourite song. Things like that, it haunts him and chases him. And again, this grows a bitter resentment in his heart towards his family. Even though he's the one who started the smear campaign, he blames them for not rescuing him from destroying himself. Okay, it's almost like he had an expectation that they stop him, but at the time he didn't want them to stop him. And anyone who did try to stop him, he would ignore them. And this is something he hugely regrets. And he may have lost friends over it as well, because they get really disappointed in him for destroying something amazing he had, and everyone knew he had a great blessing. So the people who loved you will side with you, and they might stop talking to him because they realize he's immature and not someone to be trusted. They see the person he ran to and they're thinking, what on earth is this guy on? Is he on crack? What on earth did he run to? That is a total downgrade from the empath he had. Why would he leave the empath for someone like this, who's clearly unhinged, clearly toxic? Everyone can see it but him. He's blinded in that moment in time because he has been heavily love-bombed by the backburner supply, or the new supply if there's no backburner. So he ends up blaming everyone for not stopping him and saving him, which is very ironic, because he's someone who struggles to hold himself accountable for destroying his own life. It's just too much for him to face. He'd rather blame someone else, so he falls out with his family and friends over this entire ordeal. And like I said, he will lose the respect of many people when they see him downgrade terribly with someone very toxic, when he was lucky enough to find someone like you. So he will miss you very much. The regret will run deep, but like I said, don't hold your breath on that happening anytime soon. It takes at least a year for that to fully sink in. And when he looks for you in other people, you will notice later, if you ever see him with new supply, she might look like you. He will look for people who look like you, talk like you, dress like you, have a character like you, but he might find something that resembles you, but everything else doesn't. So he will spend the rest of his life trying to find you in other people, I promise you. I've had clients and other people tell me this. And it really hurts them when someone lets them down. So they get excited when they meet someone who's like you, but then they realise, nope, she doesn't come close. Okay, that's what they keep going through. It's a new torture that comes as a consequence of what they did with Allah's greatest blessing for them. And with this comes a deeper resentment for their flying monkeys, right? Their friends and family members who egged them on when he was doing his smear campaign. So instead of him being stopped by them and being told that he needs to stop the smear campaign because it's unjust and unfair, she was a good woman to him, they encourage him to keep going until there's no way back. Right? The smear campaign now is so bad, they've inflated his head with so many toxic thoughts about you, whether this is the back burner, his family, friends, whoever, and now there's no way back. So he resents them even more for fueling his toxic thoughts from his qareen about you. Okay, he realizes now that they really didn't help when he needed their help and support, when he needed their wisdom and guidance. They weren't there for him. They weren't true friends or family members or women who loved them. Okay, that's when he develops this anger. And you might notice as well, because the back burner is so jealous of the empathic woman, she might start to copy her too. Okay, she might start to dress like her, do the same hairstyle as her, the same type of makeup. And she does this because he can't stop talking about you. She knows you have his heart. And she gets really annoyed and she starts to compete because of how highly he used to speak about you before he got with her. Okay, remember when he used to brag to her about you? Yeah, she's competing with everything that he said back then. And he might be talking about you a lot even when he's with her. So she thinks and believes that you're a serious threat. So she needs to put her skates on and be more like you to keep him. But what happens here is that backfires on her, because all she does is she keeps reminding him of how far away she is from being an empathic woman. Okay, so he sees her attempting to be you, but it's not working, and he resents her even more. And eventually when he sees her ugly side, the toxic side that scammed him, he might do the same to her, what he did to you. So he might find a new supply who looks like you while he's with her as payback for what she did to him, because he knows that would inflict maximum pain on her. Okay, would absolutely humiliate her and cause her to completely self-destruct from rage and jealousy. If he ever does reform and change and get better, Allah will give him a good wife if it's written for him, but she won't be a high-level empath at all. So I've never seen it anyway. I've never seen it happen. So Allahu A'lam, it could. But what I'm saying is, don't torment yourself over what the man-child is doing with his life after you, because this is something that's going to happen. It will come crashing down on him eventually. It will. And all I can say is, may Allah have mercy on this man's soul when that does, because it's not going to be an easy hardship to deal with. Okay, so you move on with your life, let him learn his lesson, and he will eventually understand that even though people might not forgive and forget, because what he did was so incredibly painful for the empath, he can still find forgiveness and acceptance with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's the most important lesson he needs to learn, so that he can repent, change and move on with his life as well. Okay, so he's no longer haunted, because when someone repents from their sins, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opens up a way for them to get the help they need. SubhanAllah, it comes to them. Okay, so it could be therapy, it could be the help of good people. Allah will open that person's heart to receive guidance and walk on the right path, inshallah. Okay, Allah's merciful with all of us. If He was merciful with Fir'aun until the ocean was split, then He will definitely be merciful with all of us too, inshallah. So it's important that we have the best opinion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to let people know that there's always hope for them to change for the better. Okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Az-Zumar, Ayah 53, قُلْ يَا عِبَادِيَ الَّذِينَ أَسْرَفُوا عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ لَا تَقْنَطُوا مِنْ رَحْمَةِ اللَّهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَغْفِرُ الذُّنُوبَ جَمِيعًا إِنَّهُ هُوَ الْغَفُورُ الرَّحِيمُ. O my servants who have transgressed against themselves, do not despair of the mercy of Allah. Verily Allah forgives all sins, for He is the most forgiving, most merciful. So I'll end it on that note, inshallah. It's another long podcast, but like I said, it's the last in the Man-Child series. If you feel like you've benefited from it and it's helped you, I'd really appreciate a like on the video. Please do share it with people who could benefit from this information, and do subscribe to the channel or sign up to the newsletter if you would like to be notified about future podcast releases. And if you haven't already, do grab a copy of the Muslim Narcissist book. You can find it on Amazon and other book sites. And in it, you will learn so much about yourself and other people. And always remember, men are the most amazing and the most powerful when they are in their true masculine self as Qawwams and Muslims. And women are the best versions of themselves when they embrace their feminine nature in accordance to how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted them to be. And this only becomes possible when these two types of people marry each other, because they encourage these traits in each other to come out. Okay, the more feminine a woman is, the more masculine a man will be, and vice versa. So if you want to build strong families and live in accordance to your fitrah, this is something you really have to work on so that you can have a successful family life, inshallah, and you can have mawadda and happiness, and your relationship will be pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So thank you for listening if you're still with me. May Allah bless you all, and until the next podcast, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.